It's a trap.
It actually is a trap.
It's a trap.
I will not show my independence, and I will not be making my own decisions.
In 2009, a bipartisan Congress created the Center for Tobacco Products at the FDA, and then the president signed this into law. And no, the fact that Congress and the president agreed on something is not what was historic. It was that for the first time ever, FDA, since the time we were established in 1906, we're really the gold standard agency to make sure that every product you put on or in your body is safe and effective.
Bullshit. The FDA is expanding a recall of a popular blood pressure drug over concern it may contain an unwanted ingredient that can cause cancer.
Tonight, for people on medication to treat high blood pressure, the Food and Drug Administration is recalling several drugs that contain an ingredient, valsartan. That drug includes an agent that could cause cancer.
Pfizer recalls its popular anti-smoking drug Chantix over a possible cancer risk.
The recall was secondary to some unknown quantities of a chemical called NMDA. We do know that it can cause direct liver injury.
Now to the Food and Drug Administration and to questions of regulation. The salmonella outbreak and the major egg recall have raised questions once again about whether an agency charged with regulating drugs and food can adequately do its job.
I can share that, at least from where FDA's perspective is, we would prefer to not have kids on the continuum of risk, if at all possible. But we recognize that's not possible because kids are kids, and there's many, many, many reasons why they choose to do different types of things. If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either a direct message to us or via social media about the relative harms of vaping versus cigarettes, we try to be as clear as possible that if your comparator is a cigarette, vaping is less harmful. As kids are incredibly smart. I'm sure both of these gentlemen, I'm sure, see that, and they have a crap detector a mile wide. We have not tried to tackle that directly in any of our proactive messaging, but when we get questions specifically in social or direct message, that's when we have that one-on-one dialogue.
The FDA today calling it a dangerous epidemic.
The FDA calls teen vaping an epidemic.
Epidemic?
Vaping is not as harmful as smoking.
You suck!
Hello. How is everybody doing tonight? It's Friday night, and lots of shit happens during the week. We keep track of things, and then Friday night, evidently, it shows up, and guess what? New shit comes at the very last minute. So tonight, there's some things that didn't make the show notes that we probably will save until the Rumble portion of the show tonight. But hi, and welcome to the show. Kevin is indeed in the back room. I just want to say hello to all of our friends that made an effort to show up. Michelle and Toasty and Michael and James and Steve. Steve is here. So, yeah, let's see. Everybody open their adult beverages and get ready. I'll mention it when Kevin gets here. Just 1 second. Here, let me bring Kevin in.
Just don't put me in a bad mood. I'm in a good mood tonight.
He's already pointing, boys and girls.
I moved just for everybody else's enjoyment. I moved the camera. I moved it down here, and I'm like, I ain't fucking. No, I'm putting it right the fuck. I can't do that. It's driving me crazy. The glare, the nuts. No, forget it. So
the nuts.
I'll get
what?
top of my head. Huh?
The nuts. The glare and then what? The nuts. What? Somebody's glaring at your nuts. What?
You can't tell me. Plus,
But
then you can
anyway.
see if I was wearing pants.
No,
Good
I'm not
evening.
wearing any. Yeah. So
Good evening,
I had an exciting week, Kevin.
You did?
Yeah. My good leg, my right knee,
Yeah.
has been perfectly fine for 51 years.
Oh, here we go.
I've had 4 procedures on the left knee because it was the weak knee. And this week, it had been sore. I've been doing a lot of stuff. It's been sore. But
She
Monday,
kicked you in, didn't she?
Monday, I went to work and it was tolerable. But as the day progressed, it became more and more intolerable. So I had to make an appointment with the doctor, and the doctor said, "Well, we're going to need to get an MRI." Now, as a member and a professional in our healthcare system, I do admit that there are some problems. So they originally scheduled me. They finally got the insurance to approve an MRI ordered by the doctor. Apparently, everything has to be pre-certified. So I have not been doing anything since Monday. I've been off since Monday. And apparently I have either an MRI on Tuesday, which was scheduled and confirmed, but then this afternoon I got a voicemail that says your MRI has been scheduled on September 11th. And I'm like, that's a whole week later than what. So I'm probably going to be out of work for a little while. I'm on leave from work. Yeah. So
she finally kicked you again, didn't she?
Well, she claims that she did, but I woke up Monday. I mean, it was sore, but I woke up Monday and it hurt, and I saw 5 patients on that day, and I called my doctor, and he said, "Come on out and do a drive-by, and we'll get you taken care of." And they were like, "Oh, well, since I didn't have an accident, since I didn't fall or do anything, they're like, well, the insurance company is going to fight on this." And they did approve it because they told me it was going to cost $300 for an MRI.
Yeah.
So, but I will have an MRI. Troop just came in too. Did you? Troop just snuck in. There's about a 10-second delay from this screen, from the actual YouTube screen, to the chat feature in StreamYards.
Yeah.
So I see movement out of the corner of my eye, and I look, oh, Troop's there, and then after about 10 seconds, it appears over there. But anyway, how was your week?
Quiet. I got Logan, not on purpose. He said, "I am the devil." Him being him.
Oh, him. Well, that's possible.
I got him on video saying it twice.
He is a ginger. So
I sent the clip, and there you go. I debate still whether I'm posting it on Facebook or not, but it is funny.
Did he growl when he said it or anything?
No, he was just proudly,
See, I think somebody put him up to it though, because kids are very susceptible. So my brother's little kid, he's a grown up now, but when he was 3 years old, I taught him to go into the kitchen and get a kitchen knife, and when his mother was asleep, and go and stand in front of her and go red rum, until she woke up. And I mean, obviously she knew I was the one that did it, but it was very funny. Kids will say whatever you tell them to say.
Pert near.
Yeah.
He's having conversations now, though. And he said, "I am the devil." I said, but are you vaping? And he said, "No." So
Well, that's
a one-off thing. I was making sure.
He's not part of the pandemic, or the epidemic.
He's 5 almost, and I've just assumed that maybe he was. Him and his little
Well,
friends
no,
running around the corner.
5 years old is still too young, Kevin.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well,
yeah.
Just checking.
I'm just glancing. I'm glancing at the Rumbles. There is currently no one in the Rumbles chatting.
Oh, look at there.
Oh, look. Fig is bad.
Moisturizing.
Fig is bad.
Hi, Fig. That's what it sounds like every time I type that.
Did you see you were kind of an afterthought on that? Did you see that?
I know. He loves me. He knows he does. I just don't answer his texts. Of course, I don't answer anybody's text, but nobody else knows that.
Do you actually have a cell phone?
I do, and I don't pay attention to it like everybody. I don't have it in my hand all day. I just don't. It's not that important.
I have 2 that I have to normally carry around. One, my personal one, and then the work one. So I feel like a drug dealer, I need a pager now, and then I would be right on.
I am not important.
Yeah.
Unimportant.
Speaking of important, let's do this. I saw this tweet this week, and I was like, this is not good. This is not good. So, Greg tweeted, he says, this should go without saying, but the below regulations.gov comment by Greg Connolly is 100% fake and a poor imitation of my writing style at that. So he did put a link to the comment. So, just a second. It's a different tab. It's a different tab. I have to share a different tab now. I'm not 100% sure though that this isn't real. So I'm gonna blow this up just a little bit.
I know it's not, and I can tell you why when you're done.
Well, it says from Anonymous right here.
Yeah.
But it says, I am an attorney in New Jersey who has channeled his passion for tobacco harm reduction into results that benefit consumers and public health since 2014. I have served as the president of the American Vaping Association, a nonprofit that advocates for policies that encourage smokers to quit smoking using vapor products and other smokeless options. While in law and business school from 2011 to 2013, I served as the pro bono legislative director for the Consumer Advocates for Smoke-Free Alternatives Association, the largest consumer group representing the interests of others of smoke-free tobacco and nicotine products in the United States. I have organized grassroots advocacy campaigns across the United States against anti-THR legislation across the U.S. See that right there is Greg would never do that because it's got across the U.S. twice. That would never happen. His grammar is much better than that. But my writing has appeared in outlets in several countries, and I have spoken at dozens of conferences and conventions and state legislatures. Very few people know more about the dirty secrets of the vaping industry than I do. I am commenting on 2 subjects, benzoic acid and the use of flavors.
Yeah.
Benzoic acid is an ingredient the vaping industry uses that has only one purpose: to artificially increase the amount of nicotine a human can ingest to create strong addiction in an abbreviated period of time. This ingredient alone causes more harm to teens and never smokers than any other ingredient and must be outright banned from all nicotine tobacco products. The typical human gets sick consuming around 6 milligram to 18 milligram nicotine, but benzoic acid increases the tolerance to unimaginable heights. Products now contain up to 50 milligram nicotine. There is absolutely no other purpose of adding benzoic acid than to promote nearly instantaneous strong addiction. Flavors are the second worst ingredient in vaping products. We use flavors to lure children and folks who have never used nicotine. In 2009, the Tobacco Control Act banned characterizing flavors other than menthol from combustible cigarette products nationwide, a measure that resulted in fewer youth smoking combustible cigarettes or menthol cigarettes than before the rule was issued. This rule must be applied to nicotine tobacco vaping products as well. The addition of both benzoic acid and characterizing flavors are nothing more than predatory in nature and solely designed to attract those who do not normally use nicotine tobacco, to create new customers and to keep them highly addicted in order to produce a steady stream of money flowing into the vaping industry. Please ban these 2 ingredients. Thank you.
That's right. Now, did you read the name? Greg.
It said Gregory Connolly. Greg Connolly.
Greg. He doesn't go by Greg.
No. Well, I call him Greg. He answers when I call him Greg.
We call him that, but we're just shortening. So I had to look up benzoic acid. It's commonly used. It is a commonly used antimicrobial preservative in food and beverages. So I don't know if it helps addiction. I don't know if it enhances addiction.
It actually does help deliver nicotine salts faster, but I don't know that more. I don't know that.
It sounds like I was making a stab at trying to pretend to be smart. That's all. The wording that is in there is not his style. So, yeah, it's not him. Yeah. If I'd not thought it was, I'd tell you so.
So Tahir, or Steve says that he thinks it's either Tahir, Meredith, or the fake doctor at the WHO.
Pushes chips.
And then Greg says, nah, they're all too low energy for this brand of fraud. I believe it's a nutty vapor / business owner. No need to name him. Life has already evidently dealt him some bad hands. In Yale, I don't know who this Yale is, but Yale says that this is sinister to the next degree. And then he says, about getting a FOIA in for the IP address, and Greg says, I filed one. Yeah. Yada yada yada. But I said, seriously, Greg, how dare you?
That's right. You tell her on purpose.
So Didymus says,
"Yep.
Hey, Chat GPT,
Sir.
Write me a comment by Greg Conley." So I just saw that and I was like, "This is funny. This is, of course we already knew that there were shenanigans. There had been shenanigans going on with fake comments to previous docket issues
Bots.
for
Bots
where comments were literally identical, and they claimed the same thing on us because at the time somebody was circulating a what's the word I'm looking for, a pre-filled thing, and they said they were removing like 100,000 comments or something because they were identical. But that's the first time I've ever seen somebody impersonating anyone. So I did, that you could call that identity fraud. It is. So that was I did get a little
wire fraud. Yeah.
I did get a little chuckle out of that, but I figured we would start out with something funny, Kevin.
It's funny because it ain't Greg.
Now you remember a couple weeks ago we had a what? I hate this when I open an article the first time and it says I read it, and then I open it the next time and it won't let me read it.
Yes.
That really drives me crazy.
You've reached your limit.
This is the West Australian will not let me read this article about cosmetic doctor noticing vaping patients and bad Botox.
Well, will we be better people if we know everything about it?
Well,
will we learn?
Probably not.
Is there?
Oh, here I found another one. This is a PR Wire one, so that might let me actually read it. Yeah, it's same thing, just different outlet. So here, Kev. Now,
yeah,
I know that you're getting older and your skin's starting to sag and wrinkle. So this is something that you probably should be aware of.
I've earned these bags under my eyes. I'll tell you.
You get those raccoon eyes. It says here,
Yes.
leading cosmetic expert urgent warning: why you shouldn't vape if you have Botox.
That settles it. I just won't get Botox. Fuck you.
So Dr. Vivek Aranki, founder of and CEO of Australia's leading national brand of cosmetic, beauty, and injectable clinics, Cosmetic, has noted an increase in patients who vape frequently. In some clinics, the rates are as high as 50%. It is important to understand the impact of vaping, especially on Botox and skin health.
Yeah.
According to Dr. Aranki, as vaping continues to be marketed as a safer alternative to traditional cigarettes, emerging research highlights significant health risks and unveils its detrimental effects on aesthetic treatments like Botox and filler. Vaping, while often considered a less harmful substitute for cigarettes, is now shown to carry a host of health risks, including nicotine addiction, respiratory problems, heart disease, cancer, and other health problems like gum disease and tooth decay, Dr. Aranki said. New findings indicate the severe impact on skin health, including increased skin dryness, acne risk, premature wrinkles, dark spots, and mouth ulcers. Vaping can impair vital skin proteins, collagen, and elastin, leading to structural and elastic deterioration of the skin, Kev. Now, Kevin, it says here that it can cause acne. Have you had a pimple recently?
On my third year, I have. Yes. It's like a breakout.
So the brain worms and now acne.
Well.
Yeah. Most patients who receive Botox and filler treatments to maximize the longevity of their treatment, vaping adversely impacts the longevity and efficacy of popular aesthetic treatments.
Bullshit.
Now, Botox is the most common brand of botulinum toxin. Now, do you know what?
Is that what Joan Rivers died
botulism? Of? It's botulism.
Isn't that what Joan Rivers died of? Because
I don't know if she died of botulism. She might have died from her face just collapsing from all the work. But botulism is a deadly disease.
Eat your skin, right?
It does all sorts of awful things to you.
I wouldn't want to risk myself to go get Botox. And I'll just be ugly. I don't care. If I go bald, that's fine.
Hey,
if I'm ugly,
you've gone 60 years with the ugly, so
you'd learn to live with it.
Nicotine, a main component in vaping products, interferes with absorption of these treatments, reducing their effectiveness. It constricts blood vessels. Hi, Jeffrey. Which reduces
no, it does not.
Blood flow to treatment areas and hinders the successful delivery of Botox or fillers to targeted muscles or tissues, Aranki said.
We can't give you elective surgery.
So they're telling you let's put this botulinum toxin into your body. And
yes,
it's a seriously deadly toxin. Let's put this in your body instead of nicotine, because nicotine is
Thanks for noticing, James. Oh, this is just bullshit. You know it is.
Well, additionally, nicotine's capacity to break down collagen impacts the skin's ability to retain Botox or fillers. It also increases the risk of side effects from those treatments, such as bruising, swelling, and allergic reactions.
I got a question.
Yeah.
You're the medical fucking guy. Does my body naturally produce Botox or Botoxin or whatever the fuck you just said?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. So it's a foreign matter, subject matter of some chemical bullshit sort.
It is a poison.
Okay.
It is a poison.
All right.
So
my body will reject it regardless of my status of vaping, smoking, drinking, or whatever. Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. So it is a neurotoxin by botulism, Botox. It is derived. It is not from a pufferfish. I saw somebody put that in there that it is not from a pufferfish. It is from a bacteria. A Colostrum botulum bacterium. Colostrum botulinum bacteria. It's a bacteria.
Please don't confuse my comments with being against your wanting or needing or the necessity for you to go get Botox injections and treatments and whatever that is, or plastic surgery for that matter, or whatever it is you're wanting to do for you, for yourself, comma, this guy's full of shit. In fact,
well, I mean, he runs a tetrodotoxin. Tetrodotoxin is the poison that comes from pufferfish, just so you know. And if you order fugu in a very good Japanese restaurant, they will make fugu is kind of a sushi that is made from pufferfish, and a good sushi guy, you have to go to special school, but when you eat it, your lips actually become numb. It's really.
Is that why you drink the sake first? Is it sake?
You can drink sake. It is a wonderful.
It'll numb your lips for you, and then you won't notice the numbing.
But yes, tetrodotoxin comes from the pufferfish. Botulinum toxin comes from a bacteria. Just so you know, we're going to be educational here as well.
This is like an ad for the Botox community and him specifically.
This is an ad for his chain of Botox clinics. Botox clinics called Cosmetic. It says
so. I'm not important and nobody's coming. But I need to talk.
Australia's leading national brand of cosmetic and beauty injectable clinics.
And nobody's opposing these poisons. Huh.
Well, you know, I mean, some of these ladies that do the Botox, they actually will buy the Botox, and have Botox parties for their friends
themselves.
At their house. Yes.
Oh wow! Without medical supervision, is it safe enough to do that?
I have seen stories of women having Botox parties and having problems. Okay. Yes.
So they were like, you get the PAVE meeting and then you go to the Botox after. So something like that. All right.
Yeah.
Because a couple of them might want to look into this.
My concern is that compared to cigarettes, vaping presents unique health risks that may make it potentially more dangerous.
What health risks and what dangers?
Well, he can be very vague. He's a famous cosmetic dude. Unregulated flavors in e-cigarettes often contain harmful chemicals such as diacetyl, which have been linked to lung diseases. They also contain heavy metals and lead and nickel. Nickelback is not in my vaping, by the way, which accumulate in their body over time, causing health complications. Lastly, vaping releases volatile organic compounds, known irritants to the lung and airways, and potential carcinogens. Kevin.
Man, it could or it might.
Arik outlines tips on how to reduce the impact of vaping on Botox and other aesthetic injectable treatments. Cease vaping prior to Botox and other injectable treatments.
No, fuck you.
We advise those considering treatments involving Botox or fillers to cease vaping at least 2 weeks before and after the procedure to ensure maximum treatment safety and efficacy. Drink more water. That's actually sound advice. Drink more water.
First sound advice.
Fight dehydration. Water is good for your body.
Hydrate.
The skin is the body's largest organ, and it requires hydration to function. Vaping and cigarette smoking dehydrate the body. Ensure that you are hydrating your body as much as possible to counter the impact of nasty habits like vaping. Arik said. Did he say to stop smoking? No, he just,
I was just going to say that, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
I mean, he says smoking is bad, but he said specifically right here, stop vaping prior to your procedure. He didn't say stop vaping and smoking.
Can't find anybody that smokes left.
Yeah. Dehydration impacts the longevity of treatments such as Botox and fillers. Stay out of the sun. Stay out of the sun because sunburn is bad. Stay out of, get your some SPF, man. SPF, Kevin.
When I was a little kid, there was 8. Now there's like 600 or some bullshit.
I don't remember. My mother, we never had sunscreen when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, I had to.
And we lived on
blisters as big as your head.
I would get, I've got the fair Irish skin. I burn. I get as bright red as a lobster. I suffer for days. And then all of my skin peels off and I'm pale white underneath again.
Mm-hmm. I have freckles. They're all going to grow together to be a tan someday, but it hasn't happened. I'm waiting.
I've heard that one before. Hardy hard.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. If I get the fig hair, then,
Yeah.
So Dr. Doofus is a lying prick.
His first name was Vivek, so I already knew he was a dumbass when I saw his name. I mean, I only know 3 now. I mean, we got Murthy, Vivek Murthy.
Yeah.
And the other Vivek. That guy. And now this guy.
Yep.
There's another Vivek that's running for president, but I don't know really anything about him. He's running as a Republican, but that doesn't mean anything. He could still be a dumbass. It's very possible. Probably. There's dumbasses of every persuasion, Kevin.
Well,
yeah. So this one, after years of us telling people don't be dumbasses, Kevin, the FDA sent out letters to tell people to stop being dumbasses.
Well, because it's a thing.
So it says here, FDA warns retailers to stop selling illegal e-cigarettes that appeal to youth. Now, I see this and I scratch my head because this one, I don't see this looks like an actual plushy teddy bear. I don't see a mouthpiece popping out of his head like I see over here and over here with these two schmucks. But this just looks like a plushy teddy bear. Now, if they've hidden a vape in there somewhere and there's a surreptitious
stem or whatever,
mouthpiece somewhere, I don't see it.
Maybe it's that little head.
That doesn't look like you get much out of that. That looks very small. But anyway, I mean, the camera thing, I don't think most kids today know what a regular camera looks like anymore because they're used to the camera being part of their cell phone.
Yeah.
And I can see Starbucks cracking some ass on this one here.
I hope so.
And Dunkin' Donuts going after this one.
You hope.
But I mean, I do know a company. I do have an acquaintance that actually used to make mods out of cans, like soda can, the big tall boy cans.
I remember seeing pictures here
where they would have like Monster Energy drink can, and the thing would open up, and and it had a glass mouthpiece that looked like a straw. But those were never commercially made. He made them. This is way back in old timey days. I've never
remembered Nintendo controller looking things too.
Yeah, I remember those, and then obviously the Pokeballs. I've seen those, and I shake my head, and I just But anyway, it says here the FDA issued 15 warning letters Wednesday, August the 23rd, to retailers for selling illegal e-cigarettes packaged for youth. Now, it could be argued that this one makes us look really bad.
If they exist.
Oh no, I'm sure they do exist because the Chinese will make anything somebody requests.
Here.
I'm sure they I wouldn't argue that they were here. I know for a fact the highlighter one that we saw the tweet on last week that said that the manufacturer says they don't ship to the United States. That's a lie.
Is it? Yeah.
Yep. I've seen them. So, yes, they're here. But the FDA issued 15 warning letters on Wednesday, August the 23rd, to retailers for selling illegal e-cigarette packaged for youth. These e-cigarettes resemble characters like SpongeBob, school supplies like highlighters, toys like the Nintendo Game Boy. They don't have a picture of that one. And drinks like a Starbucks coffee, according to... Now, Starbucks coffee, is that only for kids, Kev?
Huh. I don't know.
I've seen some grown-ass adults over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't charge you for caffeine.
No. The design of these products is a shamelessly egregious attempt to target kids. Brian King, PhD, MPH, director of FDA Center for Tobacco Products, said it's a tough sell that adults using e-cigarettes to transition away from cigarettes need them to look like SpongeBob in order to do so successfully.
Yeah.
Online retailers were selling the e-cigarettes without authorization by the FDA, according to the notice. Well, I mean, let's be clear. Every website that's selling product, any vape shop that's selling any product, is actually selling those products without authorization.
And if you're selling any product without
even
authorization,
the grown-up adult-looking ones are being sold
and then
without authorization.
And then they sell them to minors. They're breaking that law. So there you go.
Yep. Retailers were given 15 working days to correct the violation and to prevent any future violations. The FDA said failure to comply could result in penalties.
Well, good. It may.
I doubt it. Yeah. I don't believe it, Kevin.
This is just, it's theater.
Steve wants to know what adult would want those. I don't know if the teddy bear thing worked. That would be pretty cool. I like teddy bear.
Like that one? Yeah. I wouldn't, but right, Michelle. Look at the Funko Pops behind. Yeah. You see him nervously twitching.
Yeah. Let me. If I scream in pain from standing up, don't worry.
Well, we'll laugh. We don't care.
Ow. Michelle makes a good point.
Yeah.
Because I actually do have a Star Wars lunchbox.
Yeah.
That has, you see these two little things right here? You see those?
I do.
So if you open the toy box or the
metal toy box.
Yes, it's a metal lunchbox.
Lunchbox.
It has a built-in electronic thing for the battery. And
in a metal box.
If you close it, you have two 510 connection things that have a plug in the side. You plug it into the side. And then you go, and you walk it around a convention with this.
But what about the Funko Pops?
They're new in box, dude. Those don't ever know.
Those are new in box.
Those are
aren't toys.
Those are NIB. They don't. But I bought this at an event from. Well, I'm not gonna tell you who I bought it from. Yeah. But
doesn't matter.
It is a hookah. It is called an e-hookah.
Okay.
Now
that one is.
That is called an e-hookah. Yes.
E-hookah.
An e-hookah. Now.
Oh, look at you.
Now, this is not an e-cigarette. This is just a cup. But I just wanted to be clear.
Isn't that marketing to children?
This is no, because I'm a grown ass adult man, and I was at Universal Studios and I bought this.
Oh, there you go.
So there. Yeah. They don't get much more grown up than me. I'm getting bigger by the minute.
Octopods. I don't know what those are.
Those are the sampling bar things.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you could go into Fig had like a whole bar full of, and they had different like long stem devices with a 510 like that for people to sample.
Okay.
Yeah. I was at his shop once.
He
sold me a tobacco that I really like, and it was made by some local company, and I can't find it anymore. It was really good. I'm very sad because I still have a bottle somewhere of it. It was like, I'm saving this and I'm saving this. I'm saving this. So I saved it.
So people that go to Comic-Con, are they being childish, Patrick?
Some of them.
Adults. Yeah, some of them.
But some of those weirdos are...
I don't.
What they call the furries.
I don't know what that means.
Furries are people that dress up in like animal fuzzy costumes, and then they have sex orgies.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. They go to Comic-Con too.
I don't care what those adults do with their time. That's my point. I don't care if you have your Funko Pops. I think they're cool.
Better not. I mean,
I don't care.
All of these Funko Pops are music related, though. There's Metallica and Johnny Cash and Alice Cooper and Rush. None of these are. Well, there's actually one Batman, and there's an Annabelle one too because it's creepy as hell. And I have Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja, but the rest of them are all. Oh, and there's a George. They did a group of presidents. So I have George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson. They're my heroes.
That's funny.
But here, Kev, this is an article. This is from a source that I bet you would never believe that we would ever have on this show.
Don't start with me.
Let me show some of these ads. There are pop-ups everywhere. I need a...
Troop says he has an Xbox, so there.
Troop knows who I bought that lunchbox from.
Ah.
Guarantee it. I guarantee it.
I have a toy on my computer.
He also made this pipe. It's the same guy that made this pipe. But anyway,
the Cars, the Cars movie.
Cars,
There's a well, yeah. To me, the Cars movie. It was an old software thing I had with the kids that I found that it still works on this computer, and Logan freaking loves it. So there you go. And when he's not here, I gotta play it.
All right. So this is from a news site that I guarantee you would never predict that we would have.
No, don't
have this on here. So from Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
Texas tight end, or Nebraska tight end, this is a Husker, tight end Arik Gilbert, arrested for suspicion of robbing a vape store. So this is Nebraska tight end Arik Gilbert was arrested Tuesday morning on speculation of burglary in Lincoln, Nebraska. Gilbert, a former 5-star recruit, was arrested without incident after he was found possessing vape materials, cigars, Delta 8 products, and lighters from SJ's Liquor and Vape Shop that amounted to more than $1,600 in value. He was taken into custody about 2 a.m. in Lancaster County, according to a statement from the Lincoln Police Department. In December, Gilbert entered the transfer portal before making the decision to transfer to Nebraska in January. Despite the transfer, Gilbert is still seeking an NCAA waiver to be eligible to play this season. Last week, Nebraska coach Matt Rule told reporters that he hoped to know whether the former LSU and Georgia tight end would play ahead of the Cornhuskers season opener on Thursday against Minnesota.
I hope you don't.
Gilbert, I don't know that anything good comes from Minnesota. Troop is from Minnesota. Of course, good things come from Minnesota. Gilbert transferred in from Georgia and needs an NCAA waiver to play in the 2023 season. That's probably because he's already played like 3.5 or 4 seasons, depending on when he transferred. But he's already transferred from 2 different schools. So that's really all we need to read. The rest of this is about football, and you guys are not.
That's
really
crazy.
interested. Some of
Isn't
you
that funny?
are not interested in football, but this is a young man who had his entire future ahead of him playing sports.
Yeah. Well, it's the vaping. It's got to be the vaping.
It's not the nicotine vaping. It's that Delta 8 vaping that got him, man. He was from LSU.
And lighters, because you need lighters.
Well, you do need lighters for vaping, man. You know, you got to be able to. You got to be able to, burn your. Oh well, back in the day, Kevin, when I used stainless steel wicking, it was a stainless steel mesh and a Genesis. You did actually have to. I had a blowtorch though. You would carbonize the wick. Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Either way, when you're a football star and you want to rob places, then I've been assured and you've been assured that there will be no black market, and that sounds like it might become a black market if those things are successful and they don't catch them at 2 a.m. I don't know.
Well,
I hope
you got to
not.
think if this kid was a 5-star recruit at a major university, I'm assuming he was a 5-star recruit at LSU before he went to Georgia.
Yeah.
Then he would have enough cash on hand to go buy his Delta 8.
He clearly can't run fast.
They caught him at home. Apparently, he had possession of these devices that he had borrowed
darn
from
cameras.
the vape shop. So yeah, he should have stuck to Botox. James says.
There, see, that's where it is.
Yeah, right, see, yeah. Well, then that would say, they would say that the vaping is addictive and it leads to people taking Botox.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I have an urge to get Botox, but I'm still trying to resist. I can't.
So, we got a story here from the Manila Times. Manila.
Oh.
Yes, I am. So this says that vaping is ineffective versus smoking.
I'll be damned.
Do you believe that, Kevin?
I'm going to have to now that I see this.
I'm gonna let the computer read it to us and see if we can hear the computer breathe.
Not if
Are
it's
you done talking over me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cigarettes to electronic smoking devices does not help smokers totally quit smoking, an expert said on Tuesday.
I don't know. We may not listen to this. We may have to read it. As you see, it's just doing this now.
It's just dancing.
I don't like it.
It's dancing.
You make me feel like dancing. So it says shifting from traditional cigarettes to electronic smoking devices does not help smokers totally quit smoking. And
just a quick word from our sponsor.
Oh, fuck you. Sorry. An expert said on Tuesday, Dr. I'm going to have to ask my wife what MA period means. Madame. I bet you it's Madame. Encarnita Limpin, Executive Director of Action on Smoking and Health Philippines, said vaping as a means to help smokers quit smoking is really not effective. What is more effective is really just to help them smokers stop smoking. What is more effective is really just to help them smokers stop smoking, she added. What?
Yeah.
What is more effective is really just to help them. Are you telling me that this is a Dr. Madame? Dr. Madame.
I got a tape for you.
What are you going to do to help them? Because
you just tell them. That's what you do.
What is more effective is really just to help them
you just
stop
tell
smoking.
Them. stop smoking. That's what you do.
Yeah. Resembling traditional cigarettes, the most common form of e-cigarettes are electronic nicotine delivery systems or electronic non-nicotine delivery systems and heated tobacco. Tobacco use has been one of the world's largest health problems that killed over 100 million people in the 20th century. We're going to have to do some math on that later, Kevin. Over 100 million people. Let us not cheat on ourselves. Switching from cigarettes to vaping is not a form of quitting that is still perpetuating the addiction, Limpin said during a health forum organized by the Philippine College of Physicians. Did you have something, Kevin?
Did I have something? What?
You started to speak right in the middle of my sentence.
No, I didn't.
Right. Oh, okay.
Snickering.
Okay. Data from the Global Youth the Global Youth Tobacco Survey in 2021 showed that 4.1% of individuals aged 13 to 15 tried using vaping. Okay, so they tried. So you're saying 4.1% of those kids tried. How many of them continued? That's the question. I mean, I know lots of kids try things, you know. I mean, that's the whole point of being a kid is to, put your foot in the water and try things. And the head of not the head of the FDA, but the head of the Truth Initiative. Now we have her on video at the beginning of the thing saying, "Kids experiment." We know that. There's nothing we can do to stop that.
They're smart.
So, kids, and they got a bullshit detector a mile wide, Kevin. Yeah, they're smart. While tobacco companies promote smoke-free cigarettes, Limpin said the use of vape and e-cigarettes is as dangerous as smoking because such cigarettes still contain nicotine and other chemicals harmful to the lungs. Limpin cited studies in the United States and in 2018, in Australia in 2019, and the United Kingdom in 2015, where nicotine was detected in some samples of e-cigarettes labeled nicotine-free. I don't know. I've never actually been able to find any studies that could prove that to me, Kevin. They claim they exist, but I've never seen anybody actually give me a link to the information.
No.
I've heard it, but the study in Australia showed that nicotine content was found in 6 out of 10 nicotine-free e-liquids. 16 known and 17 unknown chemicals were identified, one of which is acutely toxic to humans. Which one? Tell me. Don't tell me that you found 7 unknown chemicals.
How can you have unknown chemicals?
Exactly. I mean,
how does that happen?
They're going to put it in a mass spectrometer. They're going to tell you what's in it.
Can there be unidentified chemicals?
I mean, unless the vaping industry is smarter than most the entirety of the chemistry people that get to school to get a chemical PhD and become researchers, unless the schmucks in a vape shop or that are mixing behind the counter, or some of these e-liquid companies that have chemists,
they just created a whole new chemical. Is that what they're saying?
They're over there using 7. They created 7 unknown chemicals, Kevin. So the chemists that work for vape companies are smarter than these research scientists because they have created new chemicals. Our message is that you cannot trust what you see on the labels of these electronic cigarette devices. They may say the product has no nicotine, but in the end, there is still nicotine content as shown in the studies in the United States, Australia, and the UK, which they will not quote for some reason. She added that most adults who use ENDS do not stop smoking cigarettes, but end up, she's a Glancean. Somebody said it a while ago, she probably worked for Glance. That is a Glancean thing right there. Yeah. It's definitely Glancean. I wonder if he glanced at her. Moreover, with efforts on the health sector and other key stakeholders, data showed a relative decline in tobacco use from 2009 to 2021. Now, let me tell you, I was in the Philippines in the middle of those years, And I can tell you cigarettes were everywhere. You would be stuck in traffic and a little kid would walk up to the side of your car and offer to sell you a bottle of water or a loose ciggy while you were waiting in traffic.
Well, damn.
So, based on the Global Adult Tobacco Survey, the number of adult smokers has dropped from 17.3 million smokers in 2009 to 14.4 million smokers. That's bullshit. All right, Kevin, I got to go over here. I got to do a Google. Let's see.
Oh, here we go.
Number of smokers in the world. So according to this number, it says 1.1 billion people still smoke.
Yeah, that sounds reasonably correct. I don't know.
Now the World Health I'm looking at Vital Strategies says 1.3 billion.
Well,
World Health Organization says 1.3 billion.
Yeah, it's agreed upon numbers, but
I would say the Lancet, which is says 1.1 billion. So Tobacco Control BMJ says 1.18 billion. So we're going to say 1.1 to 1.3 billion. So, and now if this is the Philippines, now let's see. In the Philippines, so it says, now there, 19.9 million smokers in the Philippines, according to Smoke Free World.
Okay.
Philippine Statistics Authority says 17.3 million in 2023. So this woman doesn't know what the fudge she's talking about. Tobacco Reporter says 15.1 million. What?
So at the top it said 100 million, right? 100 million people die from smoking or smoking related disease, right?
I believe it said in the last century. Where did it go?
I don't know. It might be at the top. I thought it was opening.
It's up there. 100 million people in the 20th century.
So 100 million people, and you drop back down to where you basically were, and they want to focus on banning less smoking.
Yeah.
So 100 million people don't matter because fuck them, they're already dead, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, Fig, you know I love you. So those 17.3, 14.4, 1.1 billion, those people don't matter.
No.
Okay. I'm just
we're just gonna
math.
We're just gonna cut them loose, Kev.
Yeah.
We don't need them.
Casualties
we're just gonna abandon them on the side of the road. Yeah.
Well, it says if you scroll one or two more lines, it says, no, it's not there either. Down. I meant down. Sorry. Toward the bottom.
I haven't gotten past this right here.
Zero tolerance. Right?
Yeah.
Zero prevalence. Sorry.
Yeah. So, despite the decline in tobacco use, Limpin said health advocates cannot stop raising awareness on the threats of smoking to health. We in the health sector aim to target zero prevalence, but we are being realistic that we cannot do it overnight. That's the reason why we continue to advocate for effective measures to control this epidemic. Except up here, she says that vaping doesn't work, vaping ineffective. Right. Then she says in the little quote, where did the little quote go? What is more effective is really just to help them, without actually saying what it is that they're going to do to help them.
Well, they just open Monday through Friday and banker's hours. That's all.
Yeah. Well, that's what's most effective is we just need to help them.
We're here to help you. That's what we do.
Help them what? Is what I want to know. I mean,
well, they're there. I mean,
I'm very concerned that they're, she wants to help them, but she doesn't really know what she's going to do to help them. That's what I'm really worried about.
They have to help themselves, Patrick.
Teach a man to fish, and you've fed him, or no, give a man a fish, and you fed him once. Teach a man to fish, and you fed him for the rest of his life.
He can feed you, yeah.
Hopefully, because I'm going to expect some sort of cut.
You think?
Yeah. But here, we got a dad that's upset here, Kev. This dad is upset.
All right. Isn't it you?
As a dad, were you ever upset with your kids, or because of your kids? Or?
Yep.
Okay. Well, this is not at his kids. But this will be funny. You'll love this.
Okay. Well, if you are sending your kids off to school this morning, you might want to have a talk with them about vapes. Starting Friday, a new law will take effect that heightens the punishment if found on them in schools. And one local dad says his son's future was almost jeopardized, and he had to fight for him not to be expelled after a vape that did not belong to him was found in his.
Dad, that was mine. That was not mine. I was holding it for Jimmy. Have we not heard this before?
I've never heard this before. This is unfamiliar territory.
It wasn't me. That was somebody else. All right, let's go.
Trayvon Hocutt says he and his son's TJ world was nearly turned upside down.
I consider myself a tough guy. Cried like no other past few days.
On August 23rd, TJ was expelled from school after Killeen ISD received an anonymous tip that a marijuana vape was found in his backpack. Both TJ and his dad says it was not his.
It was reported that his telephone was stolen, proving that there was access to his bag prior to the Crime Stoppers reports, or around that time that was addressed.
Oh.
So it's a
so
setup.
Now, remember, we talked about this recently. Where the one girl ratted out the other girl and said that she had a vape when she really didn't have a vape. So now these kids are bullying each other. They're dropping a dime on each other to get the other kids in trouble. They're planting
deflection,
Delta 8 or THC or whatever to get that kid kicked out of school.
Yeah.
See, this is one of the this is the result of those pave mommies scaring. So this kid got targeted because he may not be cool, and whatever. But that kid, look at his face. Steve's right.
Determined.
Steve says that kid didn't use no THC. Because he looks really, look at his eyes. He's got his eyebrows furrowed. He's all angry looking.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Not in my backyard. Not my son.
Situations that didn't matter.
TJ plays football at Harker Heights High School and is an honor roll student. He appeared on our morning show last year. And after a district level hearing on Monday, school officials decided not to expel TJ, who is ready to put all of this behind him.
I just like being around my friends, growing around them. I liked all my teachers, learning, just the environment I was in.
Starting Friday, September 1st, a new law will heighten punishments for students caught with vapes at school. HB 114 will require that public school students who are caught with vapes be placed in DEAP, which is a disciplinary alternative education program.
She did that wrong. That's DAEP.
Right.
And what did she say? DEAP? Whatever.
AP, which is a disciplinary alternative education
Yeah,
program.
so she had it backwards.
Yeah.
DAEP.
The Killeen Independent School District is encouraged.
Look at that. They got these kids today don't know what the hell this is down here on the ground, Kevin.
I don't understand.
They got Pac-Man on the floor of their school, man. We didn't have Pac-Man on the floor of our school.
So THC. Oh, never mind.
So So here in Texas, the new law says that if your kid gets caught with a vape, he gets sent to the remedial school, or the school where all the kids with behavioral problems go. They don't get expelled. They get sent to that alternative school for like 2 weeks or whatever. They don't get sent there permanently. They have a penance that they have to pay.
They called it in-school suspension for me.
Well, no, they have a whole separate school where they put all of the bad kids in, Kev.
They didn't have an extra school.
So, yeah. But THC gets you expelled, obviously, because it's illegal in Texas.
Huh. So it's illegal for it.
With students about this new law, saying, quote, Killeen ISD is a drug-free zone, and therefore any and all drug-related charges are automatically enhanced.
So, yeah, since it was a THC vape, he was getting expelled.
Huh. Imagine that. That's a shame. Who'd have thunk this could ever happen?
I'm of the mind that some kid doesn't like him and is weaponizing the rules to get rid of him. Maybe it's the second stringer on the football team that wants his position. Or some dude that he didn't like, or some girl that didn't like him, or something. I'm telling you, these rules are going to be weaponized by other kids to get, to bully the kid that they don't like.
But how will I or anyone else discern the difference between the kid that's actually a good kid because his daddy said so, and the kid who isn't?
If he is an honor roll kid,
that doesn't mean shit. You know that.
Well, no, I was on the honor roll and I was breaking all the fucking rules.
So there's my point. And plus, you got Funko Pops behind you, so I can barely trust you.
Well, I am untrustworthy. I have Kevin.
See,
Kevin, look, I am wearing. So you said your grandson said that he was the devil.
It's on my phone, or I'd show it to you. It's pretty funny.
But I'm definitely untrustworthy. I've got a shirt with a devil on the front of my shirt right now.
This kid either A, got away with it, or B, he got screwed. He got set up. I
Either
don't know
or.
which. I don't know which.
But the situation is, and I have been one of those people that have been saying, punish these fucking kids when they're breaking the rules.
They didn't say how they found it. Did he drop it on the floor?
No,
somebody his ass?
Somebody Crime Stop. They said somebody called Crime Stoppers on him.
But did they search him illegally?
Yes, they searched him.
And there's another part of it that nobody's wanting to say. Illegal search and seizure.
Well, I mean,
come here a minute, son.
The kids that I see, I don't know how. I mean, I see kids every morning when I go, because there's a school right here beside me, and there's a bus stop in the corner.
And they annoy you.
They do fucking annoy me. But they carry like transparent plastic backpacks.
Yes.
So how could you hide something in your transparent plastic backpack is what I want to know.
Right.
Because the schools here require every kid to have like a see-through backpack so that they can see that you're not carrying,
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a strip search, Steve. Where is your brain, man?
Well, we don't know that.
But he is a mortician, and now I'm starting to get some weird vibe off of Steve over there.
Well,
Cocut says the one strike punishment is way too harsh.
It hurt me.
Well, how many times?
Right now, not only fighting for my son, fighting for other young men in the future. I mentored in the area, young men, and when it happened, I sat down and I had talked with TJ, and I didn't think it was going to be like this.
Well, just a reminder, a THC vape found on school grounds could end up being a felony for students. The new vaping bill is one of the many state laws going to affect this Friday.
So, yeah, I mean, the dad is over there. He's saying, I cried. Well, I mean, I guess you would if you had to put up with your kid because he couldn't go to school. I mean, I'm just, I'm kind of wondering here.
Not in my backyard. I don't want them vapes in my backyard.
Yeah, well, they're so deadly. They're so deadly, Kevin.
Well,
yeah, they're
I've been
addictive.
attacked by them enough.
It's as bad as heroin, Kevin.
Well,
now see, now Steve is making me even more like worried for him. He says only girls.
That seemingly is the consensus. Most.
No, we've done. There, look in the list, Kev. There's boys and girls both getting stripped down. Boys told to pull their waistband away from their drawers.
Yeah, they're winkies.
We already covered those. It's happening to everybody, and none of them is as far. Even though this story wasn't about strip searching,
and nobody cares.
Kevin and I seem like we're the only ones that are finding this kind of skeevy. These people are being, and nobody, well, other than a few of the parents are upset that their kids are being strip searched by adults without calling their parents, which, I don't get.
I'd be upset if my kids were searched, let alone strip searched.
My mama would come to the school and pick up a principal and throw him across the room. My mama would not have handled that very well at all.
It's just you.
Yeah.
Now, if you're causing, destruction / hurting yourself / all right, you have to intervene and call the cops, but you call the parent.
No, I mean, obviously that's a different story.
If you're suspected of holding a fucking vape, you call the parents and you go from there. That's parents. That's what they're
I don't know.
for.
Maybe because I went to some backwoods country Mississippi redneck school, and we had a student smoking area when I was a kid.
Yeah,
but that I personally, I mean, considering the FDA has admitted that there's not really anything they can do to stop kids from doing stuff.
Because they're really smart.
We got a bullshit detector a mile wide and all that, Kevin. But
it's amazing how smart they are when their nicotine brains have worms in them. I just don't. I'm confused at the messaging.
Yeah. So we have a story about retracted studies, Kevin.
Oh,
this is a new one too. This is a new retraction.
I haven't seen any of our stuff retracted.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah,
and we only smoked cigarettes in the smoking area at our school. There was none of that.
Oh no, stuff. Yeah, we never smoked any of the wacky tobacco. No,
we'll have none of that now.
No, none of that devil's lettuce. No. Study linking E-Vaping to liver disease retracted by journal due to lack of merit in research.
That's about fucking time. Good for you.
Now, how did it ever get published? Is my question. If the science lacked merit to begin with, did your reviewers not catch it?
Well, they see. Here's what happens. They get the submission, they get a hard on, and they go, "Oh, it's about vaping. Let's publish it now, and we'll worry about it later." And then they go, "Oh shit!"
A study linking nicotine vapes to liver disease was retracted from gastroenterology research after the authors failed to reply to concerns about the researchers' methods and findings, reports Filter magazine. We love Filter. A study conducted by the peer-reviewed journal Gastroenterology Research linking vaping to liver disease was retracted by the publication recently as the authors of the study were unable to address the concerns and questions raised on the authenticity and reliability of the findings. While the letter to the editor that questioned the report was not made public, the journal carried a short notice regarding the retraction. It said, concerns have been raised regarding the article's methodology, source data processing, including statistical analysis and reliability of conclusions. The paper titled Association of Smoking and E-Cigarettes on Chronic Liver Disease, an NHANES study, was retracted on June 11th, almost a year after being published on June of 2022. As reported by Filter magazine, critics feel that such retractions reiterate the fact that public health researchers are overstating the harms in their academic literature. According, do we need to confirm whether this is the real Greg Connolly?
Well,
according to Gregory Connolly, Director of Legislative and External Affairs for the American Vapor Manufacturers Association, a similar incident was noted in the year 2020 when a study by the Journal of the American Heart Association linking vaping as a cause for heart attacks was retracted by the publication for being flawed on several parameters. As pointed out by the researchers, the JAHA study had lacked credibility and failed to include survey data on nicotine use during the JAHA paper retraction. The letter to the editor with the queries was published that provided more clarity to the readers on the questions for the retraction. That is not even the only reason it was retracted. It was retracted mainly because the people that had heart attacks, several of the people that had heart attacks that were counted in the statistical conclusion were people that had heart attacks prior to starting vaping.
Well, that helps your numbers.
Yeah. However, in the case of the recently retracted study by Gastroenterology Research, there's a lot of opacity on the issue as the letter to the editor has not been made public and remains under wraps. When talking to Filter Magazine on the shortcomings of the report, Ray Nyora, we love Ray, a psychologist and epidemiology professor at New York University School of Global Public Health, said, and you notice that it doesn't say Bloomberg in there because apparently New York University is smart enough not to take money from Bloomberg to create a public health foundation, although the Johns Hopkins one needed the money. The only survey question on vaping was a broad one. It said, however, have you ever used an e-cigarette? On the contrary, questions involving combustible tobacco included, do you now smoke cigarettes? And whether someone has smoked at least 100 cigarettes in their life. Ray Nyora reckons that the question on vaping was rather weak and unclear to be able to draw any conclusions. The study was conducted based on a publicly available database from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. The participant responses were then linked to liver disease post receiving the letter that asked for clarification. Authors were asked to file their response or rebuttal, but they failed to respond. Nyora, who also studies tobacco dependence and treatment, stated to the Filter Magazine, I don't think you need the word "the." I think it's just Filter Magazine. It's not the Filter Magazine. That such flawed studies result in a ripple effect that later gets difficult to control. The erroneous findings continue to repeat in other papers and media and websites that aggregate multiple articles. It was therefore gratifying to see the journal retract the paper. I wonder if I can actually link if it's still on their website.
Well, probably.
The debate on whether vaping saves conventional smokers or creates new addicts has been around for a long time. What? See, I fixed it in my head.
Yeah.
The debate on whether vaping saves conventional smokers or creates new addicts have been around. I fixed it in my head. I'm starting to do that, Kevin.
Yep.
Fix the grammatical errors while I'm reading. While vaping is promoted as a safer alternative to regular cigarettes, a safer alternative to regular smokers trying to quit their nicotine addiction, the facts are debated by various groups and forums. Hence, vaping requires more authentic studies, science-based research, and campaigns to bring the required levels of awareness regarding its consumption. Countries like Japan have seen a successful reduction in cigarette sales, and according to the American Cancer Society, the decline resulted from the introduction of HTPs in the country. I can't argue that because vaping can't take credit because nicotine vaping is not legal in Japan.
Right.
And those Japanese people, they actually do follow the rules. There's not a giant black market in Japan. Right. WHO data states that there are more than 1 billion smokers in the world today, and the number is expected to stay steady until 2025. It is also estimated that around 8 million deaths happen each year globally, and is about to be a massive health crisis that requires immediate attention and control measures.
About to be.
As NIORA sees it, many public health researchers have been quick to frame vaping as a threat to be avoided, while other scientists are now playing catch up to balance the debate. He feels while it was a right decision to retract the paper, the letter to the editor with the questions, if published, can bring better clarity and spread awareness among readers.
So you can say what you want to say. You get a year's worth of publicity out of it. You have people pretending that they know what they're talking about, and then they find that they're all full of shit, and nobody cares. And this has continuously happened for a decade plus. I don't know of any. If anybody does, have any of the studies that we would call pro on our side, if you will, have any of them been retracted? I don't know that there are, but maybe there are. I don't know.
Yeah. So the actual paper is still on the website, Kev.
I said it probably was.
Now, to be fair, this article has been retracted, and in the background you can see the word retracted.
Yeah, but nobody cares.
But people can still cut and paste that shit, right?
See, to me, if it's retracted, it needs to be gone, disappeared, scrubbed. That's it. You're
in
done.
its place. There should be a page that says this page or this article has been retracted, and we will not publish. It has been removed because it's been retracted.
Even a quick paragraph saying it claimed this, it showed no merit, and that's that, because you're losers. And there you go.
You're a loser.
They can say what they want. David told us that. They can say anything they want, even if it's a lie, period. And they do. And they don't have any accountability, and they can all go fuck themselves.
There's no stopping them, Kevin. No stopping them.
They're like 14-year-olds with a bunch of vapes in the fucking bathroom. That's what they are. That's exactly what they are.
Because they're, well, no, I mean, I'm not going to show you any more articles about vape centers being installed in schools, because this week there was like 150 articles about schools, different school districts installing vape detectors.
No fentanyls. No fentanyl detectors, though, right?
Oh, there was a story again about vaping and fentanyl this week. I don't remember if I added it to the show notes or not. I don't think I did. I think I washed my hands of that argument. Yeah. So here, new study: quicker respiratory issues from vaping. Kevin,
to your health alert, as a new study, people are at risk of developing respiratory problems after just 30 days of vaping. So Dr. Jennifer Stevens with the North Wales Center for Tobacco Control says e-cigarette companies are not required to put the ingredients on the label like cigarettes. She says they
what?
No, they don't.
Let's repeat this.
Cigarette. She says they.
Oh, I got to go back further.
They're not required.
To put the ingredients.
Are you trying to talk over the video, Kevin?
No, I'm just babbling.
Okay.
Says e-cigarette companies are not required to put the ingredients on the label like cigarettes.
Okay, boys and girls. I don't have a pack of cigarettes to hold up in front of the camera, but I can promise you that I have never seen a pack of cigarettes that actually showed the ingredients, because if it was so, it would have to have one of those fold out things that accordion out from the, like one of those folded things. And it would be like, longer than my arm, because there's over, 1,000 to 1,200 or whatever ingredients in a cigarette. So she's saying that cigarette companies are required to list their ingredients on the side of the package.
No, they're not. There's an agreement that they don't.
Yes, they actually don't. So I don't know what this person is talking about.
No.
She says they contain nicotine and harmful substances. So she's reminding teens and their parents.
And Kev, I mean,
what?
I have a bottle of liquid right here.
Yeah.
And right here on the front of the bottle, right here, it says 12 milligram.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't, I do have another bottle of commercially available. Oh, this says 12 milligram too.
I don't know if that'll focus or not.
And on the side, on the back here,
yeah.
Does it list PG, VG, and food? Yeah. It says nicotine derived from USA grown 50% USA grown tobacco and 50% foreign tobacco. It says kosher USP ingredients, vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, natural and artificial flavorings, and nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says on the side, right there.
That's similar to what that says at the bottom. I just can't. Can't focus it.
I have two different manufacturers. Three. Let's see. This one's from our friends over at Five Ponds.
Yeah.
It does. Ingredients: vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, tobacco-free, nicotine, natural and artificial flavors. And it says
no sucralose.
This is actually
no sucralose.
This is over a year old.
Ain't that neat that they have their ingredients?
Yeah.
Hey, I got an idea. Somebody print up a fold out of all the ingredients in cigarettes, and then all the byproduct or whatever the fuck they call them, chemicals caused by, and then do the same thing for this. Now, the chemicals caused may be the same or similar, but they're not exactly the same, are they? So.
No. Yeah.
Reporter.
Even though the products are over the counter available, it does not mean that they are safe.
Your kid Tylenol, you know exactly what's in the Tylenol. You know that it's been.
Do you know exactly what's in the Tylenol, Kevin?
No, I don't.
I mean, I know acetaminophen is in it because that's the active ingredient, but I don't know any of the fillers or any of the other stuff that's in there to make it into a capsule.
The percentage of rat hairs, and I don't know any of that. No.
Yeah.
Bug parts.
Regulated and processed appropriately. We don't know exactly what's in these vape pens. One of the chemicals I was reading that's put into the vape pen is actually one that's used to kill bees in your backyard. So not too.
What?
Kill bees in the backyard? What?
To kill weeds. Weeds.
Oh, weeds
in the backyard. So I do know that some forms of nicotine are used as an insecticide, but it's not the pharmaceutical grade nicotine that we use. And just because
It's surprising that that's something that's going to be an irritant to the lungs.
You don't say. So according to the National Youth Tobacco Survey, more than 2 million U.S. middle and high school students reported using e-cigarettes in 2021.
All in the wording, in there, and you're ingesting it here at 6.
Cheer out alert.
They do have requirements for that, and we
they do?
Commercially made e-liquids do actually have labeling requirements that they're following,
and some were doing it before it was required.
Yes.
Yes. Some were doing a lot of things before it was required.
Troop says I'm supposed to try this new modern mood thing. I can't because in the state of Texas, it's not legal.
Well, has that ever stopped you before?
Well, yes, because I work in health. I can actually be drug tested for no reason, for any reason, for
Oh, is that what that is? The modern food?
If I get a DUI, Kevin, this is the funny thing. So in physical therapy, our Practice Act includes language that says if you get caught with a DUI, you instantaneously lose your license to practice in the state of Texas. Well, actually, I think it's every state. For 1 year, and then I can have a hearing after 1 year to see if I can be reinstated.
Okay.
If you're a nurse in the state of Texas, you can actually steal your patient's meds their opiate pain medicines, for example,
Yeah.
get caught injecting yourself with those drugs and not get anything but counseling.
Wow. Well, if you just come into the office and talk to us, you'll be okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that it's hemp derived, but in my field, there's if something bad happens and there's a 1 decimal point of THC in there, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just stay away until
I didn't know what it was anyway.
Even in states like California or Colorado where it is legal, even if it's legal and you get caught, you're fucked. So,
well,
yeah.
PSA: don't drink and drive. So.
Well, but yeah, I mean, since I worked with pediatrics, I get drug tested. I could potentially get drug tested at any moment. Good. So yeah, I don't want some some pothead treating kids. So yeah. They might be blowing it in their face or something, like I seen a pothead. Have you never seen a pothead blowing into their pets' faces and shit?
Yeah, of course.
You probably did it. You're one of those assholes.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
that was.
So federal courts are really sticking it to the FDA now, Kev. Yeah, they're sticking it to the FDA. Well, there. Look, this is from Reason.
Are they in fear? Yeah.
So it says here, this is Jonathan Adler. Another appeals court accuses the FDA of committing surprise switcheroo. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District D.C. Circuit takes issue with how the FDA evaluated Phantom's unflavored vaping products. So today, the U.S. Court of Appeal, and this was the 29th. That was just 2 days ago, I guess. Yeah. The DC Circuit concluded the FDA failed to conduct the proper analysis before rejecting some vaping products applications. The court unanimous decision on Phantom versus the FDA upheld the FDA's denial of Phantom's application to market flavored vaping products in line with prior DC Circuit precedent, but rejected the FDA's denial of Phantom's applications for unflavored products. Now, so that you guys understand, in this specific instance, the unflavored is actually tobacco flavor, which is not unflavored. I guess they feel like unflavored means that all vaping products have tobacco flavor in the unflavored format, which is not real. I mean, you can buy unflavored e-liquid and it just has like a little sweet, sugary tint to it because the PG and the VG are sugars. But anyway, where was I at? Unflavored. Where's the word unflavored products? And became the Second Circuit Court of Appeals to accuse the FDA of a surprise switcheroo when reviewing vaping product applications. This is all further evidence that the FDA has a vaping problem. The FDA regulates vaping products, also known as ENDS or electronic nicotine delivery systems, because it deemed them to be tobacco products in 2016, subjecting them to regulation under the Federal Tobacco Act. As a consequence, all such products that were not on the market by 2007 must obtain the FDA's approval in order to be sold legally. And since no product was on the market in 2007, except for like some Chinese knockoff Cigalike that is no longer available, none of them are available. Because of how narrowly the FDA defines the individual products, this has meant the FDA has had to process applications for thousands and thousands of products. In its rush to process these applications, the FDA appears to have cut some corners. Now, those of you old timers will remember a few years ago when Trump had a meeting with all the vapey people Fontum was the one big tobacco company that defended flavors in that meeting. And whether you like blue or not,
yep,
you got to say that they at least had the hook spa, and they stood up for themselves instead of rolling over like all the other shitheads. Because they said, the guy said, some adults need those flavors.
Yep.
So whether you like them or not, and they're made. Fontum is part of what's the fucking parent company of Fontum? But anyway, at least they stood up for us and for flavors.
Yeah, they did.
So, Fontum, which markets vaping products under the Blue and My Blue labels, sought to challenge the FDA's denial of several of its products. Among other things, Fontum accused the FDA of failing to perform the required analysis before issuing its denials, and at least with regard to Fontum's unflavored products, the DC court agreed, finding the FDA failed to engage in the holistic public health analysis required by the statute. From Judge Rao's opinion for the court, joined by Judge Walker and Senior Judge Ginsburg. With respect to Fontum's unflavored products, the FDA also denied Fontum's applications on the public health ground. While the FDA identified multiple discrepancies or deficiencies, it failed to analyze the trade-offs necessary to make a public health finding. Nor did the agency explain how the specific deficiencies relate to overall conclusion that Fontum failed to demonstrate its unflavored products were appropriate for the protection of public health. The agency's denial, therefore, failed to comport with the requirements of the Tobacco Control Act. In denying Fontum's unflavored products, the FDA relies solely on the public health ground. The FDA could have promulgated regulations imposing consistent requirements on the composition and manufacturing of tobacco products. Had the agency done so, Fontum's failure to meet those standards would be an independent and sufficient ground for denying the applications, regardless of the overall product health consequences or public health consequences of Fontum's products. But the agency has not exercised its regulatory authority because the FDA has chosen to proceed application by application under the public health ground. It must undertake the holistic inquiry required by the statute. So it says up here that they failed to impose consistent requirements on the composition and manufacturing. So they could have, according to this court, this is something that they argued with us about, that they didn't have the statutory authority to do this.
Yep.
But the court is saying they could have. You could have promulgated regulations imposing consistent requirements on the composition and manufacturing of tobacco products.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not do that. So if they had just said,
How
these
come?
are the product standards, you must, tell us where you're manufacturing your product and agree to spontaneous inspections when we decide to do them. And you must manufacture your products to our standards and use these approved ingredients.
Yeah.
They could have done that.
They could. How come they didn't, Patrick?
Because they didn't want them. They don't want small companies in this field, Kevin. They do not want.
Makes it simple.
Yes, they want to have as few people to regulate as possible. This is how they do drugs. This is how they do all their shit. They want to get rid of all the small companies and only deal with the big guys that they already have working relationships with.
Working with, yes, with.
Yes.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah. I said working relationships. Come on. Instead of making an overall assessment that Fontum had not shown its products were beneficial for the public, the agency identified five highly technical deficiencies, but nothing in the denial order explains how the deficiencies relate to the overall public health consequences of Fontum's unflavored products. And despite the express statutory requirement that the agency considered the risks and benefits to the population as a whole, including the increased or decreased likelihood that existing users of tobacco products will stop using these products, USC 837JC4, nowhere in the denial order did the FDA address the potential benefits of Fontum's products for the public at large, nor did it consider the possibility that existing users of combustible products such as cigarettes would reap health benefits by transitioning to Fontum's vaping products. So, I mean, I know that none of our lawsuits are going to get this sort of beneficial language, but
Nor attention.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is. I mean, if some like small mom and pop vape company, or not even a small mom and pop vape company, but just a small company were to defeat the FDA like that,
yeah,
I believe it would get national coverage, but it probably wouldn't be beneficial now. See, even this, if this was reported on CNN or some other network, it would say FDA gets shafted in law. You know, the circuit court shafts FDA. Like it would be out there defending the FDA.
Yeah.
But okay, Kev,
what?
I'm gonna I'm gonna be brave.
Oh.
So this week, I put myself outside of the vaping circle of advocacy.
You bastard.
Because I saw
you
something.
Dirty dog.
I saw something that pissed me off.
Yeah.
And I saw a bunch of vaping advocates showing their asses, getting diverted away from our fight to go do something stupid.
And you took it upon yourself to jump ship?
I didn't jump ship, but I'm sure that this was not the most popular tweet in the vaping community.
You just was walking around the edge.
At least not in the American vaping community. I got a lot of like, you know, retweets from international advocates.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, and far be it from me to point out the people that are in our circle that got distracted from the important thing and started snowballing on this other thing. So this week, David Marcus, who's a Fox News contributor, was apparently interviewed or something. So there's a New York Times article about a viral cigarette brand, and it's one of those like small boutique natural tobacco cigarettes, kind of like the American Spirit ones, you know, that no added chemicals or something like that. So David Marcus, like I said, he's a Fox News columnist, and he said in July, the Fox News columnist David Marcus smoked a Hestia, which is the brand of cigarette, during an appearance on the Megyn and Kelly show after the brand sent him a pack of cigarettes. Now, I don't know what the rules are about cigarette companies sending out free packs to people. I don't know what the rule on that is, but that could be against the rules, right?
Yep.
So then I suddenly see like our people being reposted all over the place about these damn cigarettes. I think that they tweeted somewhere, Hestia tweeted somewhere. So this guy, Pericles Perry Abbasi, tweeted about it or whatever. But I'm just like, is this what we have to? So I went to Hestia's Twitter. Hestia.
Yep.
Hestia cigarettes. So this is, like I said, it's a small American farmer-grown naked wild tobacco, whatever. You know, if you want to smoke a cigarette, if you want to smoke a cigar, you have every right to do that, right, Kev?
Yes, you do.
So, of course, people in our circle are anti-cigarette. I get it.
Yeah.
But they dogpiled on this like small mom and pop cigarette brand. They're not marketing their cigarettes to kids. This is not kiddie friendly looking packaging. Their marketing is that this is naked, wild tobacco, no added chemicals, right? Yep. I mean, that's so fine. Cigarettes are bad for you. We know that. But, Allie's here. Grim Green is here. Demi retweeted it. The AVM blasted them. And I'm like, yo, guys, I can't, with a clear conscience, argue that adults should be able to make adult choices.
And then not like those choices.
And then shit all over a company selling an adult product to adults. I'm scrolling down. It's down here somewhere. Yeah, right here.
Right there.
So I retweeted David Marcus. Look, if folks want to smoke, they have every right to do it. It took me a long time to quit, but I fight for the choice of adults to vape, and I can't crap on adults making choices to smoke. So if you want to smoke, then smoke. One day, I hope you decide to quit. And when that day comes and you have a hard time, maybe try an e-cigarette. Millions of smokers have used them to quit. So Hestia actually responded to me and said, that sounds perfectly fair and reasonable. And they just happen to be from the same city that I live in right now.
That's hilarious. That really
is. I thought that was kind of funny. But yes, please explain to me how we as grown-up adult people who fight for the choice of adult people to make adult choices, how can we blast a company selling a product to adults that adults want? I mean, how do you feel? Like, do you feel that that's necessary when we have FDA, Truth, tobacco-free kit? We have all these other targets that we could be hitting.
Plenty.
That are arguing to steal your liberty and freedom away from you. How do you logically put that into your head that I'm going to divert my attention away from the people that are really fucking with us to go after this small cigarette company?
Right.
I just don't get it. Explain it to me.
Well, I don't know. I've said before, have done part of that dogpiling over the years. I've very much so been guilty of that. So I understand the fever you might have when you do so, It's kind of like the beer thing to me, or flavored alcohol, if you want to go that way. I don't give two shits what you drink. I know you like your booze when you do, and I know others do as well. I know people in my life that do. So they can do that. I prefer not to. I'll have a beer every 6 months or a year or 2 or 3. Or I showed you guys the bottles that I have. They still remain unopened. And the little bit out of the Jack Daniels that my boy has already drank. Still the same level. But that's my choice. One day when I want to walk in there and get it, there it is. So I don't agree with it, but I thought it was funny that they did respond to you, though. I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, I mean, I actually engaged.
That's all.
For one thing.
Yeah. And you're not being a dumbass. For a change.
I said, hey, you're an American. You have rights, and you have one of those rights is if you want to, and I defend your right to make those choices. If you want to smoke a fucking cigarette, smoke a fucking cigarette. Just don't do it standing right next to me.
Yeah. Patrick,
but
probably, I don't know.
I mean, I can't with a clear conscience say that the government shouldn't try to interfere with my adult choices.
No.
And then dogpile on this company with all these other people who are being distracted from the real battle that we should be fighting. Can't do it. Plus, they engaged with me like they were friendly. They were like, "That is a
and they were friendly,
well thought out, logical, response, whatever, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
What I mean, why does everybody have to be our enemy? Why are we? If you want to fucking shit on a cigarette company, go ahead, but You're a little gnat.
I am a little gnat.
Compared to British American Tobacco or Reynolds or Imperial or any of those big fucking companies, your little tweets are not hurting them.
No, not really.
They're not the enemy we need to deal with. We need to deal with FDA. We need to deal with these courts. We need to deal with the general public and try to erase the brainwashing.
We're going to talk about one of them in a minute, I bet.
So let's not start a fight that
I guess
we don't need to be fighting.
This to me is like saying 30 years ago, what kind of brand do you use?
I'm gonna go buy a pack of those fucking cigarettes if I can find them, just so I can hold them up on the fucking camera.
If you didn't smoke Marlboro Red, you weren't a man in some circles or instances, or if you didn't smoke non-filter Pall Malls because I do, you're not. You know what I mean? You're shaming. You're doing the exact same thing they're doing with their enjoyment, and your enjoyment are different. Do you drink coffee, Patrick?
I drink a lot of fucking coffee.
How do you drink your coffee? Do you drink it black?
Sometimes I like it cold. Sometimes I like it hot.
All right. And then do you add sugar?
Sometimes I'll put a little.
Add sugar?
No, I don't. I don't ever put sugar in my coffee. Ever.
Milk.
I put a little milk sometimes.
Sometimes cream, whatever.
Or cream.
See,
cream or milk.
I am against. I am against myself consuming anything but just plain old fucking coffee. I don't need the frappe and the crappes and the.
I mean, every once in a while you get
fuckos and whatever. I don't
if
care.
I'm making a pot of coffee here, it's going to be coffee with a splash of milk.
Right, and I know you have the espresso machines, and I'm not going to hold that against you. You're just not going to.
No. If you want your coffee black, Kevin, you go and you order a black espresso.
I don't want to. And fuck
if you want the boost of your coffee,
yeah.
An espresso is just concentrated coffee. It's even more strong.
But why am I not just fine with what I already like?
Well, I'm saying is if you really want your heart to palpate and you really want that extra juice, you suck down that espresso. There's a reason why when you order an espresso, it comes in a little tiny cup like this. It's because it's essentially a concentrated shot of black coffee.
So if you like your steaks rare or
blue, I like them blue, man. You just walk that.
All right, then, and then let's pretend Troop likes them well done. Who's right?
I would hate Troop.
I know
Troop could not be my friend if he was a well done.
And I'm sad for that.
Steak sort of man.
I don't honestly know what Troop likes for his steaks. If he even eats steaks, who knows?
Troop is a steaker, I'm sure. He's a smart man, so he only eats bloody rare steaks. But
so I don't give a shit.
He's a wild man.
Shits. In fact, it's your choice is whatever you choose to do. That's all.
A ton of crap.
Yeah. Ton of crap. I got a couple more. I'm just saving them.
Yeah.
Look at Raj. Troop says no.
No, he says no to the well done steak. I'm 100% positive. Yeah. See, he's like, knock the horns off, wipe its ass, and put it on a plate.
It's still got to be mooing.
I want him to walk it through a warm room.
So I just don't understand you to. If I say to Janice, now it's a little different with her brain, but if I say this tastes funny to me, she'll say, I love it. I don't understand.
Because you're an idiot.
Well, I think after 30 something years, she'd be used to it, but no. So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure she would.
She likes shit that I would never eat ever in my life, and I will never. And then I like stuff that she doesn't. How can you stand to eat that? Well, because I like it. It's enjoyable. Yeah. In fact, I like ham. That offends anybody. I can't help you. So I bought this. Ham. It's unrefrigerated, packaged, whatever.
Like a dry aged or dry what do you call it? A salt cured.
Yeah. It was on sale, and the moment I opened it, I was like, "Ooh, what? Ooh,
yeah."
So I checked the website, and I thought, well, maybe this shouldn't.
You got to rehydrate that shit. You got to soak that shit for a while.
Yeah, I don't know any of that, so I'm not that cultured. So I go to the website. It says you can eat it right out of the bag, and I thought, well, I'll try it.
It's gonna be salty as hell. Yeah, I know.
And then I cooked it, microwaved it, and I took about 4 or 5 bites, and I was like, golly, I love ham. I love ham. I don't do it a lot, but when I do, I just thought, well, I'm probably going to enjoy. Oh no, I did not like that. And she's like, "You're throwing that away?" And I'm like, "I'm throwing the whole package away." Yes.
No, you're supposed to rehydrate it. You're supposed to reconstitute it. You're supposed to soak it, and then throw the water away.
It was rough.
Are you ready, Kevin, for the VapeCatz X of the week? The X of the week.
It's going to be a tweet for me anyway. Yeah.
I have one of yours.
You got it. Okay.
I have it open.
The Victor share screen. In lieu of me doing it, it's you.
Yeah.
You didn't know I do Lou, did ya?
Yeah. All right. So this is what you sent me as the tweet of the week.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, she's been on the show. Both this one and this one have been on the show, Kevin.
Yeah. So see. So we'll get to the rest of it later. But Michelle Minton, who's a friend of ours, I guess we could say that. Everyone who has ever or ever will consider donating to the American Lung Association, that's you, Harold, you bastard, ought to know that this is what they are. This is what they lobby for. They want adults to be misinformed.
Hi, Janine.
Janine. So that those adults will do what they're told and support whatever policies groups like the American Lung Association say they should. Now, you can go ahead and get the crank go brought up if you want, or you can do it for me, or I'll do it, whichever you like.
Give me 1 second. I was in the middle of refilling.
And
so
over Skips. Skip says, like earlier we covered Greg allegedly putting in a comment that the Lung Association and Harold, the fucktard Weimer with 2 M's, says remove language from the description for this goal that references informing adults, literally what this show does, well, sometimes, about the relative risk of tobacco products. And that is literally what the Lung Association wants to demand that the FDA do, is to lie to the public or just conceal the facts. That way they don't know any better. Now,
so the American Lung Association, I'm opening the document, Kevin.
Okay. Yep.
The American Lung Association has released they sent a letter. This is the strongly worded letter that the FDA has sent to Brian King, telling him what he should do. Now it's a multi-point letter. I guess I could rub this a little bit.
Okay.
So this is to Brian King, MPH, Master of Public Health, and a physical doctor, a PhD, Director, Center for Tobacco Products, U.S., blah, blah, blah. Dear Dr. King, the American Lung Association is pleased to submit these comments to the U.S. FDA Administration Center for Tobacco Products Strategic Plan. The American Lung Association is the oldest voluntary public health organization in the United States. One of our 4 strategic imperatives is to create a tobacco-free future, and tobacco cessation is vital to that effort. Tobacco use is the leading cause of preventable death and disease in the United States, responsible for the deaths of 480,000 Americans annually. An additional 16 Americans live with a disease caused by tobacco. The American Lung Association is pleased to see CTP's initiation of this strategic planning process. Over the 14 years, FDA has had
authority over tobacco products, its efforts have often had a lack of focus on the regulations and activities that would have the greatest impact on improving the public health. Therefore, the Lung Association hopes this strategic plan will result in a roadmap that CTP can follow to better regulate the manufacturing, marketing, and sale of tobacco products and ultimately reduce the death and disease caused by them. So this is a non-profit, non-government organization, apparently giving the FDA its marching orders and telling them this is what you should do.
This is what we want.
So there's 5 goal areas in their plan, and I'm not going to read the whole damn thing, but we're just going to go. So goal number 1 is to develop, advance, and communicate comprehensive and impactful tobacco regulations, which at least the part about communication, that's important because they haven't done a shitty job telling people what they should do for their applications for tobacco products, as referenced in the court decision that we just read above. Then we scroll down to strategic goal number 2. Just keep scrolling. Where's number 2? I didn't pass. Oh, no. Ensure timely, clear, and consistent product application review to protect the public health, which the court just told them they didn't do. We're going to keep going. Strategic number 3. Ensure compliance of regulated industry and tobacco products, utilizing all available tools, including robust enforcement actions, which Kevin and I have been showing for years that the FDA is not doing.
You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. Improve public health by enhancing knowledge and understanding of CTP product regulation and risks associated with tobacco product use, which we have a video of them admitting we haven't spent any effort in trying to tell people about the relative risks of these products. Yes, we will tell an individual person, but we will not spend any money at all educating the people about these products specifically. Keep scrolling. Number 5. Whoa. Oh, did I pass 5?
Are any of you pissed off yet?
So, again,
I had that screen.
Obviously,
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I do have a screen. So they only had 4. So they had 4 pieces of instruction that it took.
That's the word. That is exactly right.
8 pages of a letter.
There's Harold.
8 pages of a
With
letter
or without
to.
a tie. Yeah.
So, and then Kevin, there is no reason for the U.S. government or government employees or an official. What? Did you want to read it?
Go ahead.
Oh, now I got to start over because you interrupted me. There is no reason for the U.S. government or government employees and officials to consider any nonprofit political front group's advice, unqualified diagnosis, questionable pseudoscience, socio-political talking points, demands, or orders of any kind for any reason in order to dictate we the people. Kevin made a picture with words on it.
Let's see. There you go.
But yes, this is a
I was pretty proud of that.
This is a non-elected group of people telling a government agency that we pay for with our tax dollars what they're supposed to do. I mean, Kevin and I have been telling them what to do for a long time. But
I can't express how fucking mad that makes me. And that is why I did that little meme.
But
because it pisses me the fuck off.
It's ridiculous that these people feel like that they should have a vote in what our tax dollars and our representation and our government agencies do.
That includes the gaggle of Karens at PAVE. That includes every alphabet group there is. Period. No.
Somehow they have been granted authority, power,
access,
rights to have opinions, access, whatever you want to call it, that we will never have, because
the
judges said in that suit that we just talked about that the FDA could have established manufacturing standards and regulated the industry that way.
And that was called in 2016.
We told them that. We've been telling them that from the beginning.
Yeah,
and their answer has always been, we do not have the statutory authority to do this.
Right.
But they do. The court says they do. But they chose to use an outdated application program designed specifically for cigarettes to be used to apply against vaping products or for vaping products. But I have my tweet of the week, Kevin. I have my
Bring
tweet
it
of
on,
the week.
big boy. Bring it on.
This came today.
VapeCatz tweet of the week.
Yeah.
X of the week, whatever.
X-Post of the week. This is the VapeCatz X-Post
Mine
of the
are
week.
Twitters. I don't
And
care what
this
Musk wants.
this is the University of Michigan Tobacco Research Network retweeting or reposting Jonathan Fold's PhD.
Uh-huh.
So this is in direct response to Kevin's tweet, by the way.
It was,
or to what you tweeted about the Lung Association's letter.
Oh, not to me, but yeah.
No, to the tweet that you just selected for your tweet of the week.
Yeah.
So it says, we disagree with the head in the sand approach advocated by Lung Association, which ignores the science and the urgent need to educate adults who smoke, half of whom will die prematurely of lung and other fatal illnesses if not fully informed about the issues such as relative risk. So Jonathan says, at FDA tobacco strategic plan includes to inform adults who smoke about the relative risks of tobacco products. Goal number 4. At Lung Association comments, the Lung Association strongly recommends that. So they're telling in their letter that we just showed you, they are telling FDA tobacco that they want the language that includes to inform adults who smoke about the relative risks of tobacco to be removed.
Mm-hmm.
And they
they
strongly recommend that language, that part of the goal, to educate people about the relative risks of tobacco products. So
isn't that
they're asking FDA to dumb down the public, to not tell adults that there is a safer alternative to smoking.
Just as it's already been that way for a long time. This is how we do it.
They're purposefully asking the FDA to gaslight the general public.
Yes.
Don't tell them that vaping is safer than smoking. Don't tell them that snooze is safer than smoking. Don't tell them that oral nicotine products are safer than smoking. Don't give them any options other than the ones that we want them to have.
Nope. Now, as an honorary mention,
for an academic, this is the University of Michigan Tobacco Research Network. This is a University of, obviously CDUG is from University University of Michigan, and he's one of the SRNT people, the 18 people that have decided to stand outside of the norm for their tobacco control cult and say, y'all need to cool your heels a little bit and start being smart about this. But for an academic, academia normally sort of bands together for an academic institution to stand outside of the circle and say, we're not doing this shit anymore. And this is stupid.
Yes.
This is a big win. This is why I said this was my tweet of the week, because this was not initially my tweet of the week. But when I saw this afternoon, when they posted this, I was like, repost, love, 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 love.
Now, can you, for honorable mentions, because I had a hard time with this, can you go back to Skip's beautiful tweet itself?
I did.
And then do her whoever quoted her tweet. Just a quick run through.
Just to see who actually retweeted her tweet or quoted her.
I know
tweet.
I did. But I'm not trying to take credit for anything specifically, but there were a few beautiful. But there, what? Toot toot.
You're tooting
exactly,
your own
Michelle.
horn.
They don't want to get called out, and they're being called the fuck out.
All right. So now let's see. Let's present. Let's present this Skip Murray thing over here, and you want to see who reposted it?
Look at 22,000 views. You can go that way, yeah.
So Alex did it, and Smoke Free Utah did it, and Alex Wodek and Grove Mitchell and Tim and Marcelo and Ivana de Vingrailmere Akvoda.
Yep.
Oliver, that's not the Oliver, that's specifically Oliver. That's not the other Oliver. Janine, Raj, Durand, Nigeria. Look at that. Tobacco Harm Reduction, Nigeria. Greggy and Michael. Your name's not on that list.
15. Well, repost and quoting are two different things.
Wow. I'm going to go to quotes then. Kasa.
Let's go. It's okay.
Lance. Michelle. Alex. Wodek.
Yeah. See what Dale says? Shh. He says shh.
Juka. Richard.
Mr. Prune.
Lindsay. Skip retweeted herself. Jonathan.
Right.
Skip retweeted herself.
It's all right.
Yael. Oh, there's the loser.
It's okay. 22,500 views for that tweet. That's pretty freaking impressive.
Over here tweeting in French.
That's right. That's right. The cranky old bots are smart.
She retweeted in France. I can't even do that. I'd have to use the Google.
I have to. Yeah.
Oh, she did it. That's what she did. She Google translated it. She did it in Spanish. And she did it in French. Okay. All right. Oh, that's
so German. Those of you that did, awesome. And those of you who hadn't, you may not have seen it. It's okay. Either way, lots and lots.
I can actually read the German one.
I can't.
Sieg Heil. Actually, I can read the French one too.
It doesn't matter what language it's in. Oh, Mr. Landell.
Bridget.
Yep.
Martin.
Yep.
Look at all those
very interesting,
wonderful people.
What we've been saying all along. All along.
Yeah.
They want you not to know stuff.
Yes. Do it our way. Don't look at me. Don't look over there. Look at me.
Here, Patrick, I'll make you feel better. There you go. There you go.
Don't look. No, now I don't know what you're looking at. You got to look at me. Because my ego is so big.
You calm down, Michelle.
So since we're on the bash the Lung Association train right this minute here, Brad Rodu actually has some good things to say about that too.
I've got a man crush on him. I don't know if I've ever told you that or not.
Yeah.
So I love this guy.
Along the same lines of what we've been talking about, while the American Lung Association bills itself as the leading organization working to save lives by improving lung health and improving or preventing lung disease, the group's recent formal comment on the FDA Center for Tobacco Products strategic plan essentially endorses the greatest threat to lung health, cigarette manufacturers. Here's an excerpt from the group's filing. Strategic plan for improved public health by enhancing knowledge and understanding of CTP product regulation and risks associated with tobacco products. So their thing right here says, this is their quote from their thing: remove language from the description for this goal that references informing adults about the relative risks of tobacco products. As mentioned in our comments above, the description for this goal includes language and to inform adults who smoke about the relative risks of tobacco products. The Lung Association strongly recommends this language be removed from the description. The ALA asked the FDA to remove any reference to the scientific fact that smoke-free tobacco products are vastly safer than smoking or than cigarettes. They are effectively urging the agency to withhold life-saving information from tobacco products from smokers and their loved ones. The nonprofit World's Poor Record on Cigarettes led me 8 years ago to advise the public to say goodbye to the American Cancer Society. Still, the American Lung Association in 2020 reported revenue of $106 million, with some 60% attributed to fundraising, events, gifts, and other contributions. It's time for tobacco users and their families to defund the cigarette manufacturer supporting American Lung Association. Send your charitable gifts elsewhere.
Yes, by all means.
So yeah, I mean, essentially by asking the FDA to not inform the general public about the relative risks of tobacco products other than cigarettes or versus cigarettes, they're essentially saying, don't tell people there's something safer for them. Make them keep smoking.
What stuns me is that they actually have the balls to do that, and nobody cares. Nobody.
Only us, because most people aren't sitting here scanning the web looking for content about vaping.
It's insane. It's
and
absolutely
most of the people
insane.
are not on Twitter,
right,
looking for tweets on vaping, on harm reduction, on ends, on electronic cigarette, whatever. I mean, this is something that most people are not even going to look at. They're only going to listen to their local newscasts while they're cooking dinner and feeding their children about the horrible vaping epidemic.
Oh, the horror.
And not absorb any of the content that would unbrainwash them.
Being fed bullshit and you're eating it up. Love the taste of bullshit in your mouth.
Yeah.
They're full of
here,
shit. That's it.
Remember last week we did the story about the vape shop that had something other than nicotine vaping product?
Yes.
So this one is from 5 News Cleveland. Pounds of weed, cocaine, and numerous gambling machines seized from vape shop in Canton by police.
So it's a front. Okay.
Canton police officers and SWAT team members executed a search warrant on a vape shop Thursday, resulting in the seizure of multiple gambling machines, narcotics, and thousands of dollars in cash. Authorities said the warrant was served around 1:30 p.m. at Mo Vapes. If any of my Ohio people want to go get a couple ounces of heroin, they got it over there. The following items were seized: 10 gambling machines, 3.5 pounds of marijuana, 2 ounces of cocaine, 24 ounces of promethazine, 1 Springfield XD45 caliber handgun. I have that handgun. And $4,276 in cash. Authorities didn't say what prompted the investigation, only that it continues. No other specifics were provided. They asked that anyone with information please call the Special Investigations Unit at this phone number. So if that's where you were getting your coke, don't go there no more because they're out of business.
Somebody else is doing it now. Huh.
There'll be a guy in a van at the park. He'll be able to hook you up. Don't worry.
Yes. Ain't that crazy?
Now you wait till I get an email from them saying, which park?
Which park? I'm sure anybody in Cleveland's not listening to us.
The cops will be saying, what do you know in which park?
Well, there's no black market.
Tell us which park so we can send a unit out there right now. Yeah.
That's
right. What color is the van? Yeah. So we've been hearing about this for like 3 or 4 years, Kev. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. FDA to ban menthol cigarettes in months. Will fruity vapes be next? The FDA missed its deadline to finalize ban on now expected in the coming months. Menthol flavoring makes cigarettes more addictive and appealing to new users. I don't believe that, Kevin. I never smoked menthol cigarettes. I didn't like them.
No.
Somehow they're more addictive. If they were more addictive, I would have liked them. Don't you think?
It's a general statement. I don't believe any of it. Period. I don't even understand it. I guess if menthol is addictive, wouldn't everybody that's addicted
the U.S.
to
ban on menthol
be
cigarettes will be finalized. I don't know. I don't know why it does that every once in a while. The U.S. ban on menthol cigarettes that has been in the works for years will be finalized in the next few months. The FDA will release its official plan to phase out minty tobacco products in the next few months, setting the policy up to be implemented in 2024. The ban is a long time coming in the eyes of anti-tobacco activists who argue that menthol cigarettes are a gateway into addiction for young people. Well, I can promise you that there will be a certain socioeconomic racial group that will be very much felt like they will be they're being targeted on that argument, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
Bastard wants to know if I'm special. Sometimes my mommy said I was special. A similar argument has been made against fruity flavored vape devices, which studies increasingly show carry many of the same health risks as normal cigarettes. That's a lie. The FDA has been considering regulations for menthol cigarettes, which make up a 40% share in all sales in the country for more than a decade. The flavoring masks the taste of tobacco that might not be appealing to all users, especially children, and enhances the effects of nicotine on the brain, making them want to smoke more. What? I have never seen that science. Show me the science. Is that hyperlink?
Well,
let's see.
This is approved language, Patrick. That's all it is.
I clicked the hyperlink and I'm going down the rabbit hole to see if there's a study.
Might.
Where's the study? I want to see this study, Kev. I'm waiting for it to load.
May, could, might. It's possible.
Yeah, let's see. Damn. All right, so I'm 3 hyperlinks out of this. I'm going to the 4th hyperlink now. I'm waiting for it to load. I'm still. I went from one article to another article to another article, and now I'm hoping that this is the actual study that verifies that somehow smokers that smoke menthol cigarettes are more addicted. All right. Is this open access? I'm finding it. I'm finding it, Kevin.
It's probably
all right. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go right there. I'm going to paste this since this is the tab that I'm sharing. All right. We finally found it. So we're going to go up here. This says, not so cool. Menthol's discovered actions on the nicotine receptor and its implications for nicotine addiction. So I'm not going to read the general stuff here. This is a bunch of BS. Let's just scroll down to the conclusions, if there is any conclusions, and see. Conclusions. Recent findings on the ability of menthol to modulate NACH receptors suggest an important role for this compound in smoking addiction. While compelling, these studies are not yet conclusive. Rather, these findings point for the need for more studies to determine if and how menthol affects the activity of NACH receptors in the brain. Experiments using subunit specific NACH receptor knockout mice are a knockout. Mice are clear next step in the pharmacological, and behavioral analysis of menthol function. Ex vivo studies in cultured cells and brain, blah, 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 blah.
Patrick, I'm a chuckle-luck.
You are
if I were in charge of being the decision maker on banning something that said it could, I'd be throwing shit at people saying, get out of my fucking office.
I know this is
until
very
you come
tiny,
back with science.
like Kevin's penis, but this is very tiny. But you see this study? You see what year it was published? 2013.
And they still don't know enough.
2013, the need for more research. So this article that we were just subjecting everybody to is quoting a study from 2013 that said our study is inconclusive and we need to do more research. Give us another check.
Inconclusive. That's 4 syllables. They can't figure that out. 4 syllables they can't pronounce.
So 2013.
I appreciate you taking the time to actually find that study. I've looked, and then you just give up after a while because it's just fucking. It's just tarnished.
I went through 4 hyperlinks
right.
to get to it, and it was taking time. But I had already I had already gone down the rabbit hole, Kevin. So I wasn't going to stop.
It's the rabbit holes are deep, and Janine, you can let go of them now.
Inconclusive.
Conclusive.
See, Bastard is over in the Rumbles. He's also over here, but he was over there. He's the only person that's actually replied in the Rumble. I want to give him kudos for actually absorbing content in that place, because we're going to go there in a little bit.
Oh boy.
Not yet, but in a little bit, we're going to go over there to provide the exclusive Rumble content that will only be available on Rumble, because that's what exclusive means, Kevin. Just saying.
Everybody, look at Patrick.
Look at me.
They broke Janine. Order her some pearls.
Did you break her pearls? That's not nice, Kevin. That's how Batman's mom died. You ever watch the movie? Like the pearls broke and then she got killed. Yeah. So the robber was trying to steal her pearls. And they broke, and then he shot her.
Oh, well, sad. So pearls are dangerous.
That's sad. Well, think of all those poor Indonesian people that have to jump. You see them jump off of the cave cliff, or the cliff diving. They go and they hold their breath for like 5 minutes.
Insane.
Retrieving the oysters so that they can go and get the pearls. All those kids probably make like $5 a week. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go buy my wife a new, set of South Sea pearls just for that, because we need to support the economy in those countries.
That's right.
Yeah, we got the big story here, Kevin. This is the big story from Lex 18. Let's hear this.
Well, a Central Kentucky school superintendent is trying to find a way to reduce youth vaping. He says his colleagues in districts across the state have seen a real problem: more kids using e-cigarettes. The FDA says 14% of high schoolers vape. The Montgomery County.
I call BS.
Well, yeah.
14% of high schoolers vape. I think the number's like 3.2% or something like that.
Yeah, 2.332.
So now they're saying 14% of all the kids in high school in the United States vape.
They can say that because it's all in the wording, Patrick.
Well, he says the FDA says that.
Yeah, it's all in the wording.
The FDA. He just blamed somebody else for his lie.
County superintendent telling LEX 18's Sean Moody that the solution involves everyone. It's our big story at 11.
As the school year gets underway in Montgomery County, the superintendent has made an appeal to the whole town.
This is something that we've got to tackle community-wide.
Superintendent Matthew Thompson says over the last few years, more and more students have been using e-cigarettes.
But we just see a...
All right. Now, I'm going to scroll this back because I call BS on this right here. They're showing a very high-end atomizer. I think this is a Squape. This is like a $400 atomizer. No kids are using this.
Oh my God.
Just saying.
Damn.
And no kids today are using these because this is like 5 or 6 years or 8 years old. That's not happening.
More students have been using e-cigarettes.
But we just see a steady, dangerous increase in the number of our students, underage youth, who are engaging in vaping. For the longest time has really been focused on
that's a cardo
now
chain.
This huge influx.
I don't even use those anymore, and I had like 14 of them at one time.
of kids vaping other things, illegal substances like THC.
What? Traditional non-THC e-cigarettes, Thompson said, can be harmful to teens.
They don't understand how to help when they start going through the withdrawal symptoms. And so then we see things like depression.
Now, let me
anxiety.
explain something to you people. Now, I'm sure that there are some people in the chat room, and I know there are people in this industry and that use these products that may at one point have suffered from substance abuse. Mm-hmm. Now, the human body, the cycle of addiction starts and your body gets used to having that chemical for a long period of time. And then when you stop after a long period of use, then you go through withdrawal symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
A kid that's just started vaping that suddenly stops is not going to have withdrawal symptoms, Kevin.
Well, the CDC or the FDA or some other dumb fucking agency says up to 30 days before they show signs of addiction. Up to.
So even after 30 days, Kevin, the human body is a wonderful designed machine.
Yes.
Whether, you believe it was designed by nature or a heavenly being or whatever, I don't care. But it is a machine that is engineered to have tolerances. And one of those things is your body does not poison itself against that item that you're putting in your body in that quick of a fashion that it would decide then to give you withdrawal symptoms after a short period of use.
No, but the script is the script.
I'm just saying.
Increase dramatically, and they do it even more to get back to that feeling kind of normal.
The CDC says 99% of e-cigarettes contain nicotine, which can harm the parts of the adolescent brains that control attention, learning, mood, and impulse control.
That's the exact opposite of what nicotine does in the human brain. Just saying.
No, it can.
We have science. There is science that says that nicotine is a neuroprotectant and it reduces anxiety and reduces depression. Just saying.
Thompson said students have told them they're able to buy e-cigarettes over the counter in some places, so he and the Montgomery County Board of Education sent out a letter to the community asking for help keeping vaping products out of schools.
Our open letter really asks for the level of awareness for the...
I don't know what these people were thinking. We already talked about 2 letters today. We talked about the letter from American Lung Association to the FDA. Now we have this school district sending out letters. If the letter wasn't hand delivered by police officers, I mean, to really give the
source,
letter,
you mean?
To give the letter some oomph, you should have said, "Hey, local PD, could you give us a unit for a few hours to go around and hand out these letters to these businesses in our community to really scare the shit out of them so that, they know we're watching you,
Well, don't Don't the paved ladies have little satellite offices that do that? No.
The cop. I mean, to really bear any sort of to get some really good oomph behind the delivery of the letter, a cop should be delivering it, so that they know.
Do they know they're breaking the law or laws?
Well,
possibly?
they probably do, but I don't think it's I'm just saying. I don't know. But here,
those businesses to be increased, to make sure that they're asking them to put those products behind the counter, out of sight of minors, to make sure that they train all their employees about the laws around.
Doesn't matter if they're out of sight of the minors. I mean, you go to a convenience store and you go to the cash register, cigarettes are right there. And even though they see them right there, they don't get sold them because it's against the law to sell them to minors. The same thing about vaping products. They're behind the clerk on the wall or in the cabinets behind the wall or behind the cabinet. That's it.
Yeah, but
they can see them all they want. It's not legal for them to buy them. So
cigarettes are protected.
Just wondering.
And selling those products to minors and making sure that they ensure that they're not selling products to minors.
And Thompson said he wants to be sure kids in Montgomery County hear the message too.
What I'd like to say to students is it's not in any way healthy for you. And it's going to be very difficult to stop once you start.
No, the kids shit detector mile wide. They're very smart, according to the FDA. Right?
Well, that's what she said. What I'm thinking, that little shot just before his mouth babbled, was all those kids sitting in the stands. So what you do, if you're a teacher or an administrator more specifically, you carry all the kids outside and you set them in the stands and let them think that they're unsupervised for about 15 minutes and just watch for puffs of vape or smoke and then attack.
Kevin, for a fact,
you get them little fuckers right where they're at.
They would say, Miss Such and Such, I need to go pee, and then they get up and they go and vape under the bleachers.
No,
they wouldn't.
Well,
do it
you'd
right
have
there.
you'd have little agents all over the place. You could they won't get away with shit.
So you want to turn the school into a police state, is what you're saying?
Yes, yes. And have your tasers
Sean
ready.
Mooney,
Don't be
LAX
fucking
18
around.
News.
Clean, fresh teeth.
Have them tasers on the ready.
Don't tase me, bro. Just
Well,
saying.
if they're that stupid, they're going to vape outside. You know they will. Well, we're outside. Nobody will ever know.
Well, I'm sure that somebody has taught these children how to stealth. I mean, come on. Yeah, see, Mallory's got it. Snitches get stitches.
They snitch on themselves.
Yeah. So speaking of letters, though, Kevin.
Yeah.
Speaking of letters, there was another letter this week. Everybody was on a letter writing tear.
It's like a binge.
Right.
Yeah.
They're writing all sorts of letters. So the headline here says Michigan AG, that's Attorney General, Nessel, tells FDA to ban flavored vapes. So Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel joins 32 other attorneys general to request the FDA to do more to protect young people from e-cigarettes.
That's right.
Nessel announced Thursday, and actually this gave 32 other attorney generals the opportunity to hold a press conference and stand in front of the press and say, I'm protecting the children of my constituents, so vote for me in the next election.
That's right.
What this is about. So Nessel announced Thursday she signed a bipartisan letter calling on the FDA to limit the e-cigarette flavors that draw kids in and protect them from marketing. She also suggested that the FDA should require a limit on nicotine levels in e-cigarette cartridges and disposables, according to the press release. Nicotine use by our young people has reached epidemic levels, Nestle said in the Thursday release. We need impactful tobacco regulations that protect our youth from the dangers of e-cigarettes and marketing tactics that target them with products flavored to taste like fruit and candy. We must act to regulate young people's exposure to these products and take robust enforcement action against manufacturers and distributors and retailers who ignore the law. So my question is, as the Attorney General, that makes you the lead law enforcement official of your state.
Lead chucklehead.
Couldn't you assign budgetary means for these police to actually go around and do these things to catch the bad actors?
Not in my backyard. Not my money, Patrick. Why are you spending your money?
I fully support arresting the bad guys. I really do.
Sure.
If you're a vape shop and you're selling cocaine in your vape shop, like that story a while ago, you need to go. If you're selling to minors and elementary age children, according to some of these articles, that it's as young as 8 years old or 7 years old, or somehow bringing vapes to school, then definitely you need to go and see if any of the vape shops in your area will be stupid enough to sell to a minor, and if so, close them down. Zero tolerance. Close their asses down. I don't give them 15 days or 14 days or whatever the FDA thing is. Close their asses down. Zero tolerance. But don't say, don't pass the buck. That's what these 33 attorney generals did. They passed the buck.
Yes.
You have the authority as the supreme law enforcement official of your state to instruct police officers and give them a couple bucks so that they can actually pay an officer to do it and have them go and do stings. Do it. But you know what's going to happen, Kevin, is if they actually did that, the number of infractions that they would actually be able to arrest people for, if they would be very small.
Right. And the recuperation of the funding,
tiny
for
amount,
those little
Kevin,
tiny fines aren't worth the effort.
Because I guarantee you that they're not getting them at the vape shops.
No.
Most of them. I would say there are some bad actors, of course.
I would say some can, right.
But I'm saying the vast majority of these people are getting them from their adult relatives or adult friends or the big brothers of friends.
Somebody swiping them. Yep.
Stealing their mom's credit card and ordering them from China online.
Yep.
But yeah, go ahead and do that. Then you would see that your enforcement actions are misdirected.
Yes.
But anyway, more than 9,000 types of e-cigarette devices are sold in the United States, and nearly 6,000 of those are disposable devices, according to Nestle's office. That number's way off. There's more than 9,000 vaping products.
I think they got the products and the flavors mixed up this time.
Yeah. This represents a 1,500% increase in disposable vapes or disposable devices from 2020. I mean, literally, if they can't prove that they bought this product before 2016,
right, shut
them down. I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
Last year, 14% of high school students reported that they were currently using e-cigarettes. Where was this reported? Because the National Youth Tobacco Survey does not say 14%.
They can say whatever they want.
But I want to know where they got that stat, because the national, no. Teen nicotine consumption is linked to nicotine poisoning, mental health and behavioral problems, academic issues, and further future addiction to other substances. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The numbers demonstrate the FDA's inability to control the tumultuous vaping market more than 3 years after declaring a crackdown on kid-friendly flavors. The AP reported in June most of the disposable e-cigarettes, which were thrown away after they're used up, come in sweet and fruity flavors like pink lemonade, gummy bear, and watermelon. that have made them the favorite tobacco product among teenagers.
So none of them are smoking. That's funny.
Well, look, it says here they are all technically illegal, but their influx has turned the FDA's regulatory model on its head. Instead of carefully reviewing individual products that might help adult smokers, regulators must now somehow claw back thousands of illegal products sold by under-the-radar importers and distributors. The letter submitted to the FDA, the Coalition of Attorney Generals, urged the FDA to set up guardrails to prevent young people from becoming addicted to nicotine through e-cigarettes. The Attorney Generals asked the FDA to address 4 key issues: prohibit all non-tobacco flavors in e-cigarettes. These flavors, mimicking fruits and candies and desserts, are a major reason young people try e-cigarettes in the first place and why adults use them. Enact evidence-based limits on nicotine in e-cigarettes. More than 80% of e-cigarettes sold have more than 5% of nicotine concentration. And because some devices last for hundreds or thousands of puffs, young people end up consuming much more nicotine. Do they not? Okay, they don't understand the science. Okay. Restrict marketing that attracts youth by making sure marketing materials don't target them, by preventing young people from being bombarded with ads about e-cigarette. Where?
Well, from them.
I must not be in the same places that these kids are, because I'm not seeing any Twitter ads. I don't go on Facebook anymore, so there might be some on Facebook, but most kids don't use Facebook. I've been on Instagram. I check it periodically. I don't see any advertisements there. I mean, that
the only ads are nonprofit political front group ads. That's the only ads I've seen for a decade.
Yeah, I don't.
Charlie's got a beautiful thread on it.
Yeah. Close the disposable loophole. Disposable e-cigarettes have not been subject to the same existing FDA enforcement guidance as cartridge e-cigarettes. In their surge in popularity, more than half of youth e-cigarette users last year reported they used disposable e-cigarettes instead of cartridge-based e-cigarettes.
You can smell the stupidity from here.
Well, there's plenty of stupid. Plenty of stupid. I'm checking. Mallory sent me a message.
Uh-oh.
It's a chart.
It's a chart. Well, you like
it's a chart. It's a chart. All right, let's see. I don't know where this chart came from, but it's a chart showing among all students current use of e-cigarettes. They're claiming that that's about current use of e-cigarettes is 2.5 million kids.
And then of those 14%?
Apparently.
Okay.
Apparently.
So
I don't know.
The enforcement priorities entirely omitted disposable flavored products. And below that, in the next paragraph, all of these states' attorney generals admit that they cannot do their fucking jobs. That's what it says. I didn't want to override you, but that's what it fucking says.
I specifically, I mean, as the attorney general of your state, you have the authority to mandate to your downline, to your subordinates. You're at the top of the chain of command, right? That's your job.
You're the helm.
Literally just make an order to all law enforcement agencies in the state and say, yo, I want you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna add a couple hours of overtime to your budget so that you can have an officer do this.
That's right.
Literally.
That's right.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
I'm amazed that these people openly, publicly admit their incompetence, and nobody sees that. Nobody can tell how stupid they are. Two chuckleheads,
and I'm just a chucklehead.
Half a fucking country away from each other, and we can figure it out in 45 seconds.
Yeah,
And of course, all of the smart people in our audience can too.
Well, of course. I mean, look, we've got the lovely Janine in the chat room. She's a very intelligent person.
But she's looking for her
way
pearls.
smarter than us.
Well, yeah.
And Mallory's there. She's pretty smart.
Yeah, and true.
Michelle.
Michelle.
I've seen her on Twitter. She's a pretty smart girl. So
she's kicking it.
You know, I mean,
toasty.
So if I say somebody's a pretty smart girl, for example, does that mean that I'm saying that girls aren't smart?
No, you're saying she is a pretty smart girl.
I don't want people to. I don't want people to feel like I'm. That's what I mean, because that's not what I mean. But you know,
generalization is
because people.
Most girls aren't
people
smart.
Today tend to be offended quite easily.
If you say she is a smart girl, you're individualizing your statement.
It is not my goal to offend anybody but Kevin. So, please.
Please help him. Help him insult me.
Please make sure that you know if you are offended, that is not my goal. So by saying that that a lady is a very smart lady, that's not me demeaning other ladies. I'm
and it's not a very far stretch to say that anybody's smarter than we are.
And I'm one of those old school people. I identify that there are boys and girls, and if I say you're a smart lady, it's because I think you're a lady. And I'm a Southern person, so lady has a specific definition in my book compared to girl or lady or woman. A lady
broad.
Is. Oh no, sir.
I loosely use that word.
No, sir.
Just with certain ones, though.
Just with the one lady. And she is a lady.
Yes.
Very fine lady. So anyway, boys, specifically boys, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Boys who smoke and vape risk passing health problems on to their children.
Oh, good Christ.
But only boys, apparently. So girls, keep on smoking because you're okay. But if you're a boy, if you smoke or vape, that's going to be a problem.
Well, is this a really fucking thing again?
I would call you ma'am, Michelle. I was raised to say all, sir to all males and ma'am to all females. If I don't, a hand will fly. My mother is in Pennsylvania, but she does have a long arm.
Southern drawn tendencies.
And I would get hit in the back of the head if I did not use the term ma'am or sir.
I'm going to call her and tell her you did.
I saw it. I saw somebody was doing a video where they were looking at TikToks, and somebody on TikTok said that they understand that we were raised to say sir and ma'am, but they didn't want us to. They wanted us to stop that.
Why?
Because if we misgendered somebody,
isn't that
the person that was doing the video was clearly quite easily identified as a woman, as a person of the female persuasion with very short hair, but still easily identified visually. And she was upset because they were self-identifying as something else. But if I were to bump into that person in public and see that person, I would say, well, that's clearly a female. I mean, she was a little butch, but still clearly a female. And I would naturally, because I was raised this way and because I feel like it's very respectful, I would say ma'am. And unless you have a sign on your shirt that says, please don't call me ma'am, I would say ma'am, because naturally that's, it's a habit that I was raised that way. And not to differentiate from the boys who smoke story, Kevin, but
right. Boys.
I just pointing out that they're saying that this only occurs in boys.
Janine, the only person that would call you sir is somebody that is very visually impaired or being
Well,
rude.
That too.
Because you are clearly a wonderful woman, a lady. Anyway, boys who smoke and vape risk passing health problems to their children. Researchers in Southampton have been looking into damaging effects. Now, this is not a boys' underwear story, Kevin, that you were... Stan obviously did. I have a quote from him on here somewhere where he says that smoking makes boys' underwear smell funny. But anyway, I just want to know how he found out that fact. Boys who smoke in their early teens passing on damaged genes to their own children, leading to greater chances of them developing asthma, obesity, and lung problems, according to a new study from researchers in Southampton. Scientists from the universities of Southampton and Bergen in Norway fear that vaping could cause similar inherited health issues. The researchers examined the epigenetic profiles of 875 people aged between 7 and 50 and looked at the smoking behaviors of their fathers. They found 19 changes across 14 genes associated with asthma, obesity, and wheezing in the children of those who smoked before the age of 15. Now, Kevin, if this was true, was true, any boys that were in the 40s, 50s, and 60s would have fathered children in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And since almost 75% of the general male public in that generation smoked, then we would have had the obesity epidemic in the 80s and 90s.
Correct.
Or even the 70s, 80s, and 90s. If that was true. Because obviously smoking, nicotine, whatever use in those previous generations was much higher than it is currently. So, I mean, without having to do much science and just using,
Your brain.
Absorbed data.
Context.
I mean, I know plenty of kids that are super skinny and their dads smoked.
Yeah. Lots.
Like, I'm thinking that like fat kids are going to be fat. I was a fat kid, Kevin. I'm a fat man. So, but there is, my wife, we were going through the photo album. There's a picture of me when I was 7. And it was probably 1979, 1980.
Yeah.
In that ballpark. And I'm running around with a pair of shorts and no shirt on. And she says, "Who is this skinny little kid?" And I said, "That's me."
See, there you go.
She's like, "That kid's got like platinum blonde hair." That's me.
See.
I was a little Aryan brat, but back in those days, I mean, I was the blonde-haired, blue-eyed brat. What do they call it? A towhead. I was a towhead.
Yeah.
My hair was Marilyn Monroe blonde when I was a kid.
Wow.
And then sometime around like 5th grade, it started like turning into dirty brown. Probably didn't wash my hair enough.
Probably
It was probably during one of my stays when were living in the Louisiana Bayou. But anyway, the researchers examined epigenetic profiles of 875 people aged 7 to 50 and looked at blah, blah, blah. They found 19 changes in 14 genes associated with asthma, obesity, and wheezing in the children of those who smoked before they... Well, of course, if you're a kid and you're born around smokers, you're living as in your childhood around smokers, you're going to wheeze. I did. But it was, only when my parents were smoking and I was in the room where they were smoking. The changes found affected how DNA was packaged in cells and how they regulate gene expression. Dr. Neguse Kitaba, research fellow at the University of Southampton, said changes in epigenetic markers were much more pronounced in children whose fathers started smoking during puberty than those whose fathers had started smoking at any other time before conception. So what we need to do, Kev, because we know that children who are born from women who smoke are lower birth weight.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to make sure that those kids that have male daddies that smoke also have mothers that smoke, because the obesity and the low birth weight will counteract each other.
Right.
Kevin, you're not supposed to agree with that.
Well, it makes sense to me now.
Early puberty may represent a critical window of physiological changes in boys. This is when stem cells are being established, which will make sperm for the rest of their lives. I don't want to talk about sperm. Professor John Holloway, also based in Southampton and co-author of the study published in Clinical Epigenetics. Are you surprised that I can say epigenetics, Kevin?
I'm in excruciating pain listening to this. My ears are just fucking ringing twice as much as normal.
There were concerns that nicotine found in vapes could have a similar effect. He said some animal studies suggest that nicotine may be the substance in cigarette smoke that is driving epigenetic changes in offspring. So it's deeply worrying that teenagers today, especially young teenage boys, are now becoming exposed to very high levels of nicotine through vaping. The evidence from this study, the evidence from this study comes from people whose fathers smoked as teenagers in the 60s and 70s when smoking. No, because some of those, they said 7 years old.
How many 7-year-olds have children?
How many people that were born in the 60s and 70s have a 7-year-old kid now?
Well, because I don't know.
We can definitely be sure vaping will have similar effects across generations. But I don't think Ed has a 7-year-old kid. I don't think his pool stick has any lead still in it. I'm just saying, it's like shooting pool with a piece of rope. He's like 100 years old, Kevin. I'm sure I'm sure the little blue pill does miracles, but come on. We can't definitely be sure vaping will have similar effects across generations, but we shouldn't wait a couple of generations to prove that impact teen vaping might have. We need to act now.
Fuck off.
I think these people are obsessed with teenage boys, though, because, Glance is talking about vapors not being able to, use their PPs and
to my knowledge,
their underwear smelling funny.
To my knowledge, I am of a family of 7 children. I have 6 siblings. To my knowledge. From 63 as of, right now, today. No, tomorrow. As of Sunday, from 63 to 53. You got 7 children.
So you're going to be 64 this weekend?
Right. Then, to my knowledge, not one of them has ever had asthma. All but one. There's 1 girl, 6 boys. All but one have all had children, and we're just not sure about the one that hasn't because we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know everything.
When I was a kid, Kevin, there was one kid in the entire school that had asthma, and he had extreme asthma.
Right.
Like he had to but nowadays, every one of these little brats that's running around has a fucking inhaler in their pocket.
Right. And quote, they all smoked at one point or another in their lives.
No, in general, these kids are all allergic to peanuts now. They're all allergic to nuts. They're all lactose intolerant.
Yes.
They all claim to be what's the word?
I don't know.
Celiac. They all claim that they can't process. Oh God, why is that word just not fall? You see it on menus in restaurants now. We don't have this in our food.
Gluten.
But anyway, gluten. Yeah, all these people claiming to be unable to process gluten, which is celiac disease, is the only disease that makes somebody unable to produce or to process gluten, and is extremely rare.
Okay.
have all these kids, Michelle's pointing it out, ADHD.
Oh yes, oh yes.
None of, I mean, all of these health issues
created. Can you say created?
All of these diagnoses, I mean, they existed before. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, no, I understand.
But now it's just like doctors are diagnosing all these kids with all of these things that, I mean, I get it. Some people are allergic to nuts. I get it.
Yes.
You know,
I knew Janice.
There are people whose bodies cannot, but very rare. I mean, these are very rare conditions.
I never knew anybody
lactose
that were
intolerant.
Right.
When I was in school, there was nobody that was lactose intolerant. Nobody.
No peanuts. No. The only thing I remember,
I think there was one kid that couldn't eat peanut butter.
One of my friends had epilepsy. One of my friends, and he had to have his pen and all that.
I know one person, but it wasn't. I mean, I don't know one person because he wasn't my friend. But there was one person in our school district that was epileptic.
Right. And other than that,
extremely rare.
Nothing else. Nothing else.
Like my little cousin was a severe asthmatic. Like he was hospitalized when he had his asthmatic episodes. He had to go to the hospital.
Right.
Like it wasn't there. But nowadays these kids all have all these conditions, and they're like they're all prescription reliant. You know, they got to go to the school nurse to get their pills every day. It's crazy. I don't know why.
Allergic to bees. I remember that.
Well, yes,
I do remember
but
that.
Like, I was not allergic to bees until I got stung like 100 times, and then I became allergic to bees.
Well, you probably deserved it. Quit fucking around and bees.
I mean, I can remember when I was a kid stepping in a fire ant by accident, like, and getting bit and just like brushing them off and nothing happening. And now if one of them stings me, I get a big, huge like welt that I didn't have when I was a kid. That never happened. And now all of a sudden, you know, I'm old and my body has absorbed all these chemicals over the years. And now but hey, you know, our friend, friend Catherine, who was just appointed as head as the Truth.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Truth
she's my
Initiative
girl
today. They just announced via a press release the creation of a new part of their website with curriculums to address vaping, nicotine, and prescription drug misuse, Kevin.
So now they're experts on drugs.
Well, yeah, because, you know, smoking is so down so low they can't be, you know, the group that fights smoking because it's so. But yes, this was released today on a press release, and they have developed curriculums to address vaping, nicotine.
Well, the fucking world's going to be saved now.
So let's look here. Vaping, know the truth. To educate America's students about the health dangers of e-cigarette use and reverse the pervasive youth vaping public health crisis. At least they didn't use the word epidemic. Truth Initiative and Kaiser Permanente, oh dear God, in collaboration with the American Heart Association, oh dear God, launched a national youth vaping prevention curriculum called Vaping, Know the Truth. This free digital learning experience is part of Truth Initiative's nationally recognized Truth campaign and made available to schools by leading social impact education innovator Everfi. In addition to encouraging students to live vape-free lives, this self-led interactive curriculum offers resources to help young people who are currently using e-cigarettes to quit through Truth's first of its kind text message youth quit vaping program called This Is Quitting, already helping over 600,000 young youth and young adults in their journeys to quit.
Patrick.
Let's explore explore the program. What?
Before you explore the program, can you say with confidence, if they've already helped over 600,000 youth, that this program should last another 6 months to a year to get the other 1.5 million off their fucking vapes? Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, if they're
going to be that
saying
successful,
they're that successful, they should really just get it done. Yeah.
Well, because now, goddamn it, then none of you little fuckers should be vaping by the time this is over. That's what I'm just saying. Okay, explore the fucking program because I know you're gonna.
I don't want to open it in a new tab. I want to open it in this tab.
This is idiotic. This is just, this is the epidemic's long been over. What?
But Kevin, it was in the news and it was today. So of course we want to explore the program. Look, it's cool. It's got a video. It's got a video applet.
Well, thank goodness for that.
So
fuckers like to click on their phones. It'll be all right.
So they have topics here. Course topics. Let's see.
Oh.
Lesson 1. No. This lesson introduces learners to the activity of vaping. See, they're actually introducing vaping to kids.
I want you to
this
reflect.
Is what they're doing. Like we're introducing vaping to your children. Lesson 2.
Scroll back up just a hair. Just what is that a cigarette pack sitting there? No, you went too far, but on the picture of the right above the no.
Yeah. And guess what?
What?
I can't see that brand. It's got a golden eagle. Oh, I think that's like Viceroy. You remember Viceroy?
I do remember it.
I don't know that they still exist.
This doesn't look very friendly. And of course, the criminals are all in charge.
So they're saying here, the second lesson is to uncover. We should not be asking kids to uncover, Kevin.
No.
Yeah. This lesson confronts learners with the hard facts about e-cigarette companies' marketing, advertising, tactics, and debunks myths about the safety of vaping and its risks.
That
relative
right
to
there.
smoking.
What you just highlighted right there is what the LALA was talking about, right?
Yeah, we don't want them to know. We don't want them to know.
Lie to your children.
Yes, lie to them. We're going to debunk the myth that that vaping is safer than smoking. That's what they're going to say. Lesson 3, overcome. This lesson challenges learners to consider the dangers of nicotine addiction, reinforces addiction as a primary danger of vaping, and lays a framework for quitting. Change. This lesson examines positive social norms.
The primary danger of vaping is addiction. That's the primary danger, kids. That's the primary danger. Think about it.
We're going to addict you to a harmless chemical.
Fucking.
Or we're going to addict you to a chemical that actually might help you with your mood. Jesus Christ. Yeah. This change. This lesson examines positive social norms that sit opposite of vaping, self-care, and quitting. It looks to refocus learners' energy on alternative behaviors like bird watching, while reinforcing the dangerous truths about vaping.
Colors. Everybody gets a Crayola box.
Yeah. So they have multiple lessons here, Kevin. We're not going to click on any of these, but I just wanted they just released. I wonder how many millions of dollars they paid for this multimedia campaign.
The lung, the heart, the cancer, the tobacco-free.
Right, but they paid somebody to produce this shit.
Sure, some marketing company, because they spend millions on marketing. Millions. 60 million, 52 million, whatever it was a couple years ago.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that one year we kept adding all the different, it was over like $150 million that after all added up, all the different monies that was being wasted by American public health groups.
Yeah.
But all right. Oh, here, you remember there used to be a group called DARE, Kevin?
Yeah.
You remember DARE?
I was a proud keychain carrying member of DARE for 45 seconds.
You know,
look, a keychain.
They're back.
Well, very soon, police will be getting to the classroom to warn students about the dangers of vaping and edibles. News Source Hope Winter is learning what steps police and Orchard Park are taking to tackle the issue.
We focus on the dangers of any drugs, and if we don't want to put things in your body that that shouldn't be there, and things that could be harmful for your growth and your development.
DARE and school resource officers are returning to schools.
Did you see that logo on the side of the cop car, Kev?
Oh my goodness.
They're back.
Officers are returning to schools to help students understand the dangers and consequences of using illegal substances.
Marijuana products, because they're legal, again, they're legal for those over the age of 21. They're still illegal for anyone under the age of 21, but because it's legal, it makes kids think that it's safe or it's okay because it's legal, which it is not the case.
So alcohol is legal, but kids understand that that's an adult-only product.
That's different, Patrick, and it's not in the script.
So, I mean, are they saying that kids can't understand? That kids are stupid?
Well,
that kids can't understand that although this is legal for adults, you can't have it?
It depends.
Because I understood that when I was a
series
kid.
you're reading from.
I'm just saying,
Kristen Mazer with DARE and Orchard Park Police says they're seeing an increase of accidental ingestion of edibles by young children.
It's not an accident.
As the packaging looks similar to candy or a snack, she says these high levels of THC are...
Is that a Rice Krispie treat? Is that what that is? Is that a...
Looks like it. I never had them.
Because
I don't know.
I've never seen an edible Rice Krispie treat. I mean, I've seen Rice Krispie treats that were edible, but not those that were considered edibles. No, it's well, if it's a Rice Krispie treat, then it's Rice Krispies and marshmallow.
dangerous for children as they can...
All right. Now, are they fucking telling me that there's an edible company out there that makes an Oreo edible?
Probably.
That says Delta 8 THC right there.
Sure does look like an Oreo.
I
sure does look like Fruity Pebbles next.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably kind of not good for that market, to tell you the truth. I mean, you could make the little black and, or, the little chocolate and cream cookies, but you don't have to make your logo look so, and make, that blue and this, that's kind of
color scheme is weird.
As they can feel effects faster. The effects can last longer, and it can cause them to get sick.
If adults have these products in their home, we definitely encourage them to be stored like a medicine, to be stored like a prescription drug or something like that, to make sure that these products are out of sight and out of reach of especially young children who maybe are unable to read and to know what that product actually is.
One substance that they're noticing an increase of usage among children is vaping. She believes vapes can look appealing for children as they come in different colors, flavors, and sizes. However, she says vaping,
just like people do, they come in different colors, flavors, and sizes, Kevin.
They do.
Yes.
Is dangerous for their development.
The nicotine level in these products is so much higher than a regular cigarette, so it's causing kids to become addicted.
I can't. I'm really just, I'm starting to palpitate. It's just, you're pissing me off.
That's the whole purpose, Kevin.
Faster. It affects, nicotine has a negative effect on brain development and growth. So
damn, if I'm already a certified genius, how much smarter would I have been if I never smoked a cigarette, Kevin?
The first word, if, so that's all I need to know. That's kind of modal, Patrick. It's borderline modal. If I stop fucking with
we
me,
really
I'm
talk to kids about the dangers of what happens when you put these things in your bodies.
If you would like to learn more about the harmful impacts these substances have on children, we'll have more information on our website, WIVB.com. But for now,
Mallory, Mallory, she believes. She said, the reporter said she believes these things are bad. She believes.
She went to a DARE school that taught the DARE curriculum, and the DARE curriculum said. She's just repeating the nonsense that was that her police chief sent her to learn.
And her taser is at the ready. So
yes, don't tase me, bro. So, Kevin, we have people are running away. They're already leaving. You see, Janine left. Now Michelle, she's saying goodnight.
Good night,
I'm
Michelle.
disappointed because we're going to go to Rumble now for a few minutes and do one more story.
Fine.
And you guys are going to miss out because this one's a big one. So we all you quitters, we love you. We'll see you in 7 days. But the rest of you, we're going to see you over in the Rumble in just like 2 minutes. So
here come the Rumbles.
We
Rumbly and a tumbly.
I
love every one of you.
We do kind of like some of you, but I'm just saying.
Well, you know who you are if we don't.
Yeah, we're just gonna play this one. Okay, bye.
Locally, my clients are physicians, nurses, single moms, couples, multiple generations of families, seniors on fixed incomes, disabled, veterans, residents of assisted living facilities, and teachers at the local elementary, middle, and high schools. Most are dealing with serious issues other than their smoking habit, further degrading their quality of life and their ability to quit smoking. From 18 to 96 years old with an average age of over 40, nearly all referrals by other successful clients. Most have smoked for decades, the result of the 93% failure rate that they've been stuck with. They don't believe you and don't trust you with damn good reason. You will never reach these people. They know you don't care and they despise you for it. I greet them in a t-shirt, this one with Kevin Crowley on it, and blue jeans, and a nicotine molecule tattooed on my forearm.